Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are San Diego.
Will Myers and the Padres, after a day off, get ready for the Colorado Rockies NL West, and they're going to have to cool down. Corey Dickerson hit 3 home runs against the Padres in the 4-game series in Denver. It's Friday night, Fiesta Party Night at the Park as we welcome you to Petco Park and the first game of a 3-game weekend series, the Colorado Rockies and the San Diego Padres. And a happy Friday to you. Good evening, everyone. With Mark Grant, Dick Enberg. Here we go again. And for the Padres, Ian Kennedy on the mound, his 2.86 ERA, second best all time against Colorado. But he has to recover from a rough outing against the Dodgers.
And the streak starts tonight with Ian Kennedy. We know that he can go out there and give you a solid 7 innings if he's got his locating his fastball, the 4-seamer. But last time out, kind of working underneath the ball a little bit, working around it. And therefore, the pitches have a tendency to flatten out. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 8 earned runs. He gave up 3 long balls, but Ian Kennedy is one of those pitchers in between starts, hone his skills, work in the bullpen, and work down in the zone, get some more action on his pitches, and keep the ball on the ground and get his strikeouts with 2 strikes against these Colorado Rockies tonight.
And it's a tough Rockies lineup. You look up and down that starting batting order, 300 hitters, 300, even LeMahieu at 400. So Kennedy is going to have to stop a team that loves their extra base power.
They do. They love the fastball, too, as well. And Ian Kennedy, if he throws quality pitches early, off-speed stuff, he should have no problem. Hey, at home, the Colorado Rockies love to hit. It's probably going to be like that at the end of the year. So right now, the National League rankings, first in batting average, first in runners in scoring position, home runs and slugging percentage. Different type of scenario when they're on the road, though. The averages have a tendency to go down. But right now, they're swinging the bats well. They'll have to counter against the Padres pitching. Hopefully it starts with Ian Kennedy in a nice first inning.
And in that group of hitting exploits there, Nick Hundley, the former Padre, had a home run and a triple in Colorado. San Diego 1-5 on the current homestand. Need a breakout start against Colorado. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to San Diego. Game 1 about to get underway against the Rockies. And when the Padres last played on Wednesday, it was their 23rd game of the season. At that point, they had played more games than anyone else in Major League Baseball to that point. And after the 3-game skid against the Astros, the Padres say, hey, that day off came at a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's good. Like you said, we played the most games so far. It's good just to have one. I think any day off is good for us. Just kind of relax and take a break on your body. So I think everybody's refreshed and ready to get going.
Definitely helps to have a day off to heal up. Nicks and bruises, stuff like that. Just getting some rest in general at home, which is being on the West Coast. You don't get a lot of home off days. There are normally a lot of travel days in there, but. For sure, we got to play cleaner baseball. We've made some mistakes that have cost us some crooked numbers for the other team, and you can give up one run here and there, and it's not going to cost you. But when you give up crooked numbers, that's when you dig yourself a hole that's tough to climb out of.
So these Padres refreshed, regrouped, and ready to go, trying to bounce back off of that 3-game skid. First pitch coming up on a beautiful Friday night here at Petco Park. It's all coming back when we return.
The Metal Supply Company bricks. Budding stars Corey Dickerson and Nolan Arenado lead the hit-happy Colorado Rockies. It's the first of 3 over the weekend. Rockies and Padres coming up. And here we go from Petco Park on a 70-degree evening. The Rockies and the Padres split a 4-game series up in Denver a week ago. And we're pleased you've joined us on this Friday night, Fiesta night, as we look forward to Cinco de Mayo next week. We will celebrate it around these environs. Managers have delivered their lineup cards to the umpiring crew. Chris Conroy is going to be behind the plate tonight for the men in blue. Colorado 11-10, Padres 11-12, and just a game apart in the National League West. Well, here's that hot-hitting starting lineup for Walt Weiss's Rockies. DJ LeMahieu hitting .406 starts things. Then Corey Dickerson, Tulowitzki, the perennial All-Pro, Justin Morneau, the defending National League bat champion, Nolan Arenado, great bat, better glove. Carlos Gonzalez, the only Rocky, off to a slow start, hitting just .200. Nick Hundley hitting over .300 at .317 for Colorado. And then Drew Stubbs in a real opening of the season slump. 0 for 20 for Stubbs. And then the pitcher Eddie Butler. The Rockies lineup brought to you by Hyundai. Let's check the umpiring crew that we'll see for this 3-game series. Chris Conroy behind the plate. Then Angel Hernandez at first base, Scott Berry at second, and the crew chief Ted Barrett will be at third. Key for these Rockies is to undo the damage done a season ago where they could not win on the road. They were 21-60, worst in baseball. But this year, they're off to a 7-5 start as Ian Kennedy and the Padres take the field. Saluting all the first responders, the Padres tonight, and each man in his position. We'll thank them for their great service, sign an autograph baseball, and we'll be on our way.
And how excited are they? Look at the smiles on their faces. First of all, standing on a big league field and then meeting a big league player in a Padre uniform. Very nice. And once again, the Padres doing a great job.
Walt Weiss, outstanding infielder in his major league playing days, now in his 3rd season as the Rocky skipper. Let's take a look at the scouting report. Ian Kennedy.
Well, the 30-year-old makes his 3rd start of the 2015 season. Get ahead with quality pitches. We know that he can do that. And stay on top of the baseball. What I mean by that, the hand staying on top, not working to the side or working underneath. His pitches have a tendency to flatten out if he does just that.
Well, you were talking with Darren Bowlesley, the pitching coach of the Padres, about Ian Kennedy in his last start against the Dodgers where he gave up 8 runs. What is the correction?
The correction is quality pitches. We know that he can hit his spots. Just some of the pitches leaked over the heart of the plate. He gave up those home runs. And in his last bullpen session, sometimes his turn can be a little bit too much. His hip turn, he worked on that in spring training. Hopefully he ironed that out and stays out of the heart of the plate this evening.
A look at the Padres defense brought to you by the San Diego County Ford dealers. Upton in left, Kemp in right with Myers patrolling center. Middlebrooks and Amarista on the left side. Solarte and Alonso at second and first base. Derek Norris behind the plate for the 30-year-old from Huntington Beach, California, and the University of Southern California, Ian Kennedy.
You know, as a starter, when you have an outing like last time, you can't wait to get out there. You've got to wait 4 days. I'm sure Ian is excited. Throws the fastball, the 2-seamer at times, the 4-seamer, the curveball, the slider, and the changeup. Okay, wait till you see these keys of the game.
I can't wait. They're brought to you by the Honda dealers of San Diego County.
I'm going big-time analysis right here.
Okay.
I mean, this is like one of my best efforts all year.
I love it.
Don't give up runs to the Rockies and score more runs to the Rockies.
Oh, man, is that profound?
Chew on that. I felt, you know what, after what happened with Houston, you got the off day, fresh start on the weekend, Rockies have a little fun, and, you know, just plain simple, win a ball game by scoring more runs than the other team.
Yeah, some of the fans, they were so hyped up. The 10-5 start, certainly deserving of all that anticipation. You lose a few, and they're starting to panic. Hey, this is a long season. Yeah. Padres are going to be just fine. Every team's going to go through a little slump. First pitch of the game, 91 miles an hour from Kennedy, ball 1. DJ LeMahieu hitting a lusty 406. Second baseman, knocking in 13 runs, has 1 home run. 2-0.
In that last outing for Ian Kennedy against the Dodgers, he only walked 1 in 4 1/3. So that goes to tell you with all those hits and runs.
There's the first strike, 2-1.
He's missed too much in the strike zone.
Troy Tulowitzki will hit third after Corey Dickerson. And Carlos Gonzalez trying to snap out of a slow start. Over but low, 3-1. Rockies, their last 13 games here at Petco, have won only 3 times. Padres prevailing 10 wins to 3. Boy, that's a pretty good pitch, but No call, and Kennedy starts with a frustrating walk of the leadoff man. But Black staring out at umpire Conroy as if to say, what's wrong with those pitches? That last one was pretty good. Could have been called either way. Corey Dickerson. After the Padres won the first 2 of the 4 games played in Colorado, Dickerson, who was not in the lineup for the initial 2 games, came back in and hit 3 home runs in the next 2 games and really powered the Rockies to those 2 wins. He with a bat and Arenado with a glove, and they split the series. 5 home runs overall on the season to lead Colorado. He takes a healthy cut. And he leads his team in RBIs as well with 15.
It's a good fastball right there. Getting ahead, 4-seamer.
One and one. And the leader of the team, Troy Tulowitzki, on deck. Dickerson is a young guy, 25. He's a budding star. He doesn't get a lot of national publicity, but the man can hit with power.
He swings hard every time, Dick. He's got the MO when he goes up to the plate to swing hard. He might hit it. It really doesn't alter the swing as he is behind in the count or ahead in the count. It's almost like one mode. Of course, dealing with that plantar fasciitis earlier in the season could affect his running game.
That's why he missed the first 2 games of the series in Denver. He's hitting .329 with a .605 slugging percentage.
Dickerson kind of looking uncomfortable in the box here, taking some extra time.
Fooled on that pitch. Late swing, 1 and 2.
You know what's weird about that last pitch? 92 miles an hour on the fastball. As you take a look at the hot zone of Corey Dickerson, it was almost like a changeup swing. Okay, where does Corey Dickerson like it? He likes it down the middle, of course. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A lot of guys do, but down and away. 267 you can get him, but down over the plate. He drops that barrel of the bat, hits 500 and up and in. That tells me right here, up and in there, he can get his hands up and on top of the ball and turn on that fastball.
Very deliberate start to this first inning. 8 pitches thrown by Kennedy.
You know, this team, the Rockies, they don't hit and run a lot. They really don't straight steal a lot. They rely on swinging the bats in first and third. And of course, the power numbers, which we talked about in our pregame show. Very late again at the fastball up and away for Dickerson. Fastball at 92.
Padres have made a player change prior to the game today. Nick Vincent is back in the bullpen for San Diego, and good to have him back. Pitched very well in 8 games at El Paso. Corey Mazzoni, after a couple of outings out of the pen, has returned to El Paso. Two and two.
See that delivery right there from Ian Kenny? Exactly what I was talking about before. He really lowered his arm angle, working around that ball and not getting extended on the follow through. Everything's away to Corey Dickerson, trying to peck away at that outside corner.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. One away as Kennedy, who struck out 207 batters last year to lead the Padres, takes care of Dickerson.
He beat him with just a good old-fashioned 4-seam fastball. 92, 93 away. And Corey Dickerson just getting overmatched on that fastball.
Jumping out of his pajamas on that follow through, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tulowitzki. 3 home runs in his head-to-head against Kennedy in their battles, but overall, Kennedy can claim that he's shackled Tulowitzki to a .214 batting average. There's his season average. So they start 406 LeMahieu, Dickerson 329, Tulowitzki 308, Morneau 301, and Arenado just under 300. Gets the call on the outside corner.
You know, it's ironic as we take a look at Ian Kennedy versus the Rockies. Just we were talking about, Dick, the career ERAs. A pretty good company right there. Hall of Famers.
Look at those names: Glavine and Kevin Brown, Kershaw, Bumgarner. Only Randy Johnson has been tougher on Colorado hitters than Ian Kennedy, men that have pitched over 100 innings against Colorado. Trying to nibble on that outside corner.
You know, usually the batting average is higher at home for the Rockies than on the road. Troy Tulowitzki right now, it's totally flip-flop. On the road, Troy is hitting .327. At home, only .276. How do you figure that? It's early, right?
Yeah, when you can figure out
exactly
all the subtleties of this game, and you've got a best-selling book.
Look at that.
Infield looking for a ground ball, double play chance. Breaking ball fooled him up high.
Swinging a little bit to the left there on the infield, and the outfield playing Tulowitzki deep in left field. Justin Upton, and on the first base side, Will Myers in center field. Big gap in left center.
Right at the knees. 2-2.
It's exactly where you right want to be. Knee high. Even if you split the heart of the plate, if you're dotting that line on the Fox tracks, chances are you're going to get that ground ball you need.
You're going to help umpire Conroy call this one. Swings at a pitch in the dirt. Strike 3. A changeup. Couple of strikeouts here in the first inning for Ian Kennedy.
Kennedy breaking out the cambio. It just goes to show you, folks, if you're out there and you want to try to pitch youngsters, even the great ones like Troy Tulowitzki, they will swing at the bad changeup in the dirt. You don't have to throw it for a strike.
First baseman Justin Morneau right at 301. One of the many Canadians that have migrated to the U.S. Major League Baseball and starred. He and the man who follows, Nolan Arenado, very tough to strike out. Contact hitters. Shift is on. Second baseman Solarte, shallow right field. That's in there. Good movement on that fastball.
Yes, little tail on it as Arenado waits on deck. Ian still trying to establish that location of that four-seam fastball.
He's ahead of Morneau, 2 strikes. Pitch away from striking out the side, but a lot of strikeouts mean a high pitch count as well. LeMahieu still there at first. Foul back. Well, tomorrow it's a 5 o'clock start time for us on Fox Sports San Diego. Brandon Morrow on the mound for the Padres against Jorge De La Rosa. Padres beat De La Rosa. Thumped him, in fact, in Colorado. Then Sunday at 12:30, Military Sunday. Saluting military spouses. It'll be James Shields and lefty Tyler Matzik. Another terrific pitching matchup. Just missed.
How do you lay off that pitch as a hitter with 2 strikes? Maybe because he thinks he can't hit it or do much with it, right? So Ian did miss with it just a little bit, and that's the 20th toss this inning for Ian Kennedy.
Ground ball. And Marista over on the second base side, closer to first. That's a shortstop going a long way to make the play. 4-3 the put about by the 6-3, the shortstop. DJ LeMahieu left on base after. And 15. Let's check the Padres lineup. Brought to you by Toyota. Myers to lead it off. Run scored, leads the National League. Let's hope that continues. Solardi bats second. Matt Kemp and Justin Upton, the power in the middle, and Derek Norris moves up to the number 5 spot. Yonder Alonso at first base. Will Middlebrooks at third, hitting 8th. Alexi Amarista, and then Kennedy, the pitcher.
And the right-hander, Eddie Butler, on the mound. The scouting report, he's got a big arm. Likes his changeup a lot as a secondary pitch, but he can be erratic. Padres take some walks, come up with a big hit, put some crooked numbers up early.
He's a youngster, 23 years of age, from Chesapeake, Virginia. In fact, went to the same high school as Justin Upton. Myers at 286. Not the ideal qualities for a leadoff man, but he's serving that function very well and giving some power, as you saw, the 4 home runs, scoring runs. And he's 6th in the National League in most hits. Fouled away. Mark Grant, the statistics, of course, they've got a book on everything. And young Eddie Butler, 52% of his pitches 4-seam fastballs.
Yeah. Usually, you know, that's kind of low, I think, because usually pitchers will be up around 60-ish, right? Maybe a little above. And if you're a power pitcher, which, I mean, you know, mid-90s, probably up around 65 or 70.
His last pitch, not that one, was 94 miles an hour off speed there.
But his secondary pitch, Dick, as you mentioned, the 4-seam fastball, is his changeup. He really likes to throw that, along with the slider and a curveball.
He was the 46th overall pick by the Rockies just 3 years ago, already in the big leagues. Full count now to Will Myers.
Good layoff right there with 2 strikes to work it full. That looked like the slider out of the hand of Eddie Butler.
They're not using any batting glove. You see Myers, all kinds of tape on his fingers. Over but low, ball 4. So Myers, the leadoff man, walks just as his counterpart LeMahieu was walked by Kennedy. Check of the Rockies defense in this first game of the series. The outfield consists of Dickerson in left, Stubbs in center, Gonzalez with a big arm in right field. Arenado, boy, watch his glove in this series. Tulowitzki and LeMahieu, the double play combo. Morneau at first base, Nick Hundley behind the plate. Signed and grew up in the Padre organization, as you know, and on the mound, Eddie Butler. And if it's hit to that left side, you've got to really hit a bullet to get it by Arenado.
Yeah, this team can catch the ball. For the Colorado Rockies, 12 errors, tied for 3rd in the National League in errors. They can catch the ball.
In fact, in their 11 wins, Mark, they total only 2 errors in those 11 wins, playing very clean baseball. As Solarte bangs that one foul. 0-2.
Big shift for the Rockies with Solarte up there, righty against lefty on the right-hand side, playing in the pole. You can see Tulowitzki nearly up the middle, and then Arenado all by himself right over there.
He just takes the hole away, doesn't he? And swing and a miss as Solarte, who probably strikes out less than any Padre, chases that one in the dirt. One away. This is following the pattern of Kennedy working the top half of the inning.
See what Butler does here with 2 strikes. That's a power. It either looks like a powered curveball or a really hard slider. But good tilt to it, good depth, and a nice block by Nick Hundley, keeping in front of him, keeping that runner at first base.
Matt Kemp, Padres leading average at 326, and tops in RBIs with those 16. Fastball inside for a strike.
94 with a little bit of movement there from Butler.
Runner goes and a ground ball under the glove of Morneau. Running all the way is Myers. They'll hold him at third as Gonzalez comes up with it. That ball hit so hard that Morneau, as he reached down backhanded, ball went right under his glove.
Well, it had the looks of a hit and run because Matt Kemp fights it off on the inside part of the plate. It's a breaking ball. Boy, does he stay inside that ball nicely. Or Matt Kemp could have been thinking, you know what, I'm going to protect the runner as Will Myers takes off. Head down, he is gone. Flash look, he picks it up. Look at those strides from the big Clydesdale. The first and third action.
Padres with a chance to get on that board first. Kemp happy. That's one of those hits that when it left the bat at Morneau, he probably thought, oh no, I hope I'm not knocking into a double play. Justin Upton. Three for the last 18 for the power hitting cleanup man for the Padres, but the 3 are all home runs. There's the first inning offense. The Padres in the National League in runs and hits and batting average. First in the National League. Tulowitzki gets one there, back to first, not in time, and the run scores. Upton just does hustle up the line and beat the relay. 1-0 Padres. Leadoff walk pays off for San Diego.
Well, going back to that at-bat, Matt Kemp, first and third there, and there's a little delay on the field. I'm wondering if Walt Weiss is going to get on the horn and try to challenge this one, because this was really close. Tulowitzki backs up. Very close. Good stretch by Morneau.
What a good play by Tulowitzki,
Yes,
backing off, and then has such a strong arm. He's able to buggy with that throw. Perfect throw to LeMahieu. Here's a slow down look, and he's safe.
Yep. Good hustle.
15th RBI for Justin Upton. One behind the Padre leader Kemp. Here's Derek Norris. 313 average as he checks in for the series. Runner goes. Big jump by Upton, and he's in there. Ball goes into center field, but no chance for further advance by Upton. Well, a little element of surprise on Nick Hundley. Actually, the base was stolen on Butler.
Yeah.
Upton had a running start.
Huge jump. Looked like a changeup. He picked a good pitch to run on as well. And Derek Norris, that ball's leaking. He stays right in there. He has every right to stay in that box. That ball leaks inside, so Nick Hundley has to go like a shortstop, turning two from Laredo, and that ball runs on him into center field.
Upton's second steal of the season. Chance for Norris to add. In the dirt. Nice stop by Hundley. Changeup. Dave Roberts, the bench coach, there with the ever talkative, loquacious Will Myers. Yeah, 3-0. Yonder Alonso, one of two left-handed bats in the lineup. On deck. And Marista the other. Green light, 3-0 this early in the game?
Sure, why not? If it's right there in his hot zone, take a hack.
He does. Slices that into the right field corner. Gonzalez has a beat on it and can't get there in foul territory.
I like that hack. Goes outer half. Really wasn't down the middle. But Derek Norris trying to go that way. He's got the right idea. And you never know with that short porch out there, 322, the Petco porch. Play a little pepper with that foul pole.
Wow. Runners in scoring position. LeMahieu, Norris, Solarte, Arenado, Dickerson, all right there. National League list. Matt Holliday, not too bad at 625, the Cardinals outfielder. Norris, 9 for 16 with runners in scoring position.
Look at Will Myers. Now he's talking to Marcotte. Had enough with Dave Roberts. Now he's talking to Marcotte about his at-bat.
Ground ball toward the hole. There's Arenado, and the whippy throw is there in time for the out. Padres take advantage of a leadoff walk and grab a 1-0 lead.
One nothing, and let's get you caught up on the three things you need to know about tonight's game, starting first with Corey Dickerson. Just a solid series against the Padres the last time they played in Colorado. Went 4 for 9 with 3 home runs. In fact, Buddy Black joking before the game, hey, when our guy has plantar fasciitis, he's on the bench for 6 weeks. This guy hits 3 home runs. The Rockies struggling here at Petco in their last 13 games, went 3 for 10. And Matt Kemp, you already saw it in that first inning with the single, solid against the Rockies. 30 home runs, 108 RBIs in his career against the Rockies. That's more than any other opponent. So needless to say, Matt Kemp enjoying playing against Colorado.
Well, that's right, Chris, and it's 109 RBIs now with that base hit in the first inning. Top of the second, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, and Nick Hundley for the Rocks. Arenado, 3 ticks under 300. Waves at the changeup.
Well, there's that changeup right there from Ian Kennedy. It floats up there like a balloon, and then it just ties him in knots.
Arenado growing up just to the north of Camp Pendleton. Swings and sends a shallow fly ball to right field. Kemp easing in under it for the first out.
Remember I told you about the changeup, Dick? The pitch prior to that last one, okay? Then what he does here, he sneaks the fastball in. You got changeup, 83, 84. You've got fastball. There's the changeup earlier, swing and a miss way out in front. And then he sneaks the fastball in, can't get connected to it, easy fly ball to right.
There's the variance in speeds already tonight, hitting a high of 94. Carlos Gonzalez hitting just 215 for 75 for this all-star outfielder. And he takes strike one.
There's the changeup grip from Ian Kennedy. And you look, that's like if you're looking at it from a hitter. And then what he'll do is, it's like almost like a knot right there. Just right there. And he just throws it like his fastball. Throw it, that's the key. Throw it as hard like your fastball. Don't guide it up there. Write that down, Professor.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Don't just go wait for it.
He's got a good one. The USC Trojan.
Well, the changeup has become, through the years, a pitch that becomes more and more important to the total command of any major league hurler. Swing and a miss. And he goes to the fastball upstairs for his third strikeout.
Seems like Ian's doing a nice job with that fastball. As you take a look, four-seamer up. He's going in, he's going up, he's going down. Might have the changeup in the back of those heads of the Rockies hitters because Gonzalez, a little far behind he is on that fastball. That's elevated. 3 consecutive 0-2 counts for the USC Trojan.
Nick Hundley had quite a series against the Padres. Remember the game? He had an RBI triple and a home run, both to right field in the 7-6 Padre win. They made it tight at the end, but Hundley hit well the whole series.
Well, tonight for Ian Kennedy, heavy on the fastball. He's following up with the changeup and the breaking ball showing at 8%.
Ground ball just wide of the bag at first base, and again going toward right field. Something he rarely accomplished when he was a Padre, a dead pull hitter. Such a nice guy. I mean, Hundley.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Great kid.
Appreciated his gentlemanly manner and intelligence. We wish him well. Trying to hit that inside corner, misses. 2-1.
I'll be quite honest with you, Professor. I'd love to see Nick Hundley in the series go over, wear the collar.
Oh, of course.
Right?
He's wearing the enemy uniform now. You still can like him.
Exactly.
Change up. 2-2.
That's a dandy.
Well, Hundley knows a little bit about Kennedy. He's faced him as a hitter before, and of course, it caught him briefly.
Change up. Look at the movement. It's not only taking stuff off it, but it's got that dip movement to it. Way out in front.
In the dirt. Full count. Traded to Baltimore midseason a year ago, and then as a free agent, the Rockies selected him. And Nick, who spent some years growing up in Colorado, his dad, a football coach, coached the University of Colorado at Boulder.
Buffaloes.
Well, I got one though. If you get this one, I might have to give you a major bonus.
Okay.
Got to wait till the next inning. Remind me. Missed. According to Conroy. Ball 4. Conroy's not a pitcher's umpire so far tonight.
No, according to Fox Tracks, that is on the corner. It's a strike, and he just did not get the call.
Norris held it right there. To no avail. So 2-out walk brings up Drew Stubbs. And it scares you a little bit to see Stubbs 0 for 20 on the season. I mean, he's such a good hitter, and with power to right field especially. You talk about overdue. I mean, that's got to be eating at him. 0 for April. 0 for April.
Yeah, you're squeezing that bat, and you're just hoping you swing hard, you might connect on one. But I've never, been in a position like that, so it's got to be tough as a hitter.
And then you start outthinking yourself.
Yep.
And you say, oh, it's okay. This is a game of failure. You hit 333. You're making out 2 out of 3 times. And just wipe that clean. Wipe it. Well, come on. You don't do that. You need a base hit to wake up. And again, Padres hope that comes after the Rockies leave town on Sunday evening.
And you know what? The 92-mile-an-hour fastball, that's been the average. Seems like he's been hitting that consistently, and these Rocky hitters just seem to be behind it. A little tardy on that fastball from Ian.
Hundley at first with a 2-out walk, and the count of ball, 2 strikes on Drew Stubbs.
Everything's away. Trying to go down and away.
Pretty good cut there. That ball well into the strike zone, heart of the plate. 2-2. Rockies, this is the second stop on their road swing. They began the road trip at Arizona. They won the first game, lost the last 2, play 3 here, and then return home. Swing and a miss. Another changeup, another strikeout. Kennedy has 4 punchouts in the first 2 innings. Padres come up in the bottom half of the second with Alonso, Middlebrooks, and Amarista leading 1-0. And Kennedy with a strikeout pitch. Pitched by Mason Moore. What a good-looking young man. Mason Moore's dad, Bill, is part of the brilliant San Diego rescue firefighting crew being honored tonight.
Oh, what a thrill for that young man, huh? Being on a big league field there. Nice going.
You bet, Mason. Come back and see us again. Yonder Alonso with the Padres leading 1-0, bottom of the second. Yonder batting .315. On base percentage .400 with his 10 walks added to his base hits. 2-0. Shift on for Alonso. And Alonso has admitted his game is left center. And yet they're playing the other way for him. Only Arenado on the left side of the infield. I shouldn't say only Arenado, because he could cover so much ground with that terrific glove of his. Three and one. Alonso and then Middlebrooks and Amarista.
Well, they're trying to move that fastball in a little bit more when Yonder's being late on that fastball.
There it is to the left side, but Arenado positioned perfectly. And one away. Ram Trucks tools of the trade. What are you focusing on here?
Brought to you by Ram Trucks, and the kid that the ball was just hit to, Nolan Arenado. Look at this play in San Francisco, where he has to go all the way down near the bullpen. Then, first of all, concentrate on the ball. Then he's got to contend with the tarp down there, the catch, the slide, and then getting the ball back into the infield. Just one great play all the way around.
No, he's an amazing talent. Grew up high school with El Toro. Will Middlebrooks, his counterpart, Padre third baseman. He's due. He's in a little 2 for 15 slumber. Okay, I know you love the nicknames of the colleges and universities.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This man, Eddie Butler, was the star pitcher at Radford University. Chop to Arenado right at the bag at third on the run. Big arm is there and plenty of time. That's 3 straight outs recorded by the third baseman Arenado.
Radford. The Rad Dudes.
That's close.
Well, Arenado, see him when he catches the ball and then he checks the runner, right? And Will Middlebrooks, he doesn't have blazing speed, but he still has plenty of time to where he gets him maybe about a step and a half. He gathered himself on the run. That's another thing he does well. He throws accurately on the run.
Alexi Amarista with 2 outs, bases empty. Radford is in a little town in Virginia, Radford, about 16,000. And they are the Radford Highlanders.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Scottish influence in that area. So you see, you learn something when you follow Fox Sports San Diego, don't you? The
Absolutely.
Highlanders.
It just makes you smarter watching us.
You know that's right, and it's a part of the educational process.
And I know you're big on education.
Absolutely. I mean, this is hardly academia up here in this booth, but we're trying. Line drive, Amarista, slicing foul. Good effort by our ball girl down there. Tried to go high with a backhand and knocked it down, so no one injured, and someone is happy with a souvenir. Well, I guess he got a good piece of it himself, the gentleman in the red T-shirt.
That's why you got to bring your glove.
Especially when you sit down in souvenir corner.
Yeah.
Ground ball, Arenado. 4 straight plays by the third baseman. It's almost as if, okay, let's see how good you are. Those are routine. 3 up, 3 down, 5-3, 5-3, 5-3. Change up could really be changed down.
Good call, Professor, as we take a look at the grip of Ian Kennedy on that changeup. It's his secondary pitch tonight along with the fastball. And speaking of fastball, use the arm speed of a fastball. Swung on and missed Arenado early in the count. Put him away with a fastball. Nick Hundley way out in front of it. It's a good secondary pitch tonight. He's spotting the fastball and locating that changeup very nicely.
4 strikeouts, 2 walks. And Eddie Butler, the pitcher, starts the third. And LeMahieu and Dickerson. Butler 0 for 7. And 0 for 13 in his career. Strike 2. Well, the Padres leading the National League by a bunch in total strikeouts of the opposition, 145, and Kennedy with 4 already tonight. Well, a 2-strike attempt on a bunt by Butler, and Kennedy throws him out. Time for the T-Mobile game changer. Major League leaders, most strikeouts. There it is, 145, well ahead of the Pirates and Indians and Dodgers, Red Sox and Reds. Padres, now that number is 149.
And also, don't forget about the quality starts as well at the starters for the Padres. Lead Major League Baseball in quality starts, strikeouts. Nice. And there's a couple of reasons why. Tyson Ross on the left and Andrew Cashner on the right. Look at Andrew. He must have hit.
Cashner setting a Major League record on Wednesday with his 21st consecutive home game, allowing 2 earned runs or less.
That's great. That's a great record, isn't it?
Got to win a bunch of the games. Unfortunately, he's had so little run support. There's a line drive, right field corner, and fair ball. Kemp couldn't get to it. LeMahieu, that's why he's hitting 400, uses the whole field into second base with the first Rockies hit tonight, a double.
Well, the leadoff hitter tonight for the Rockies, LeMahieu, walked his first at bat, and this fastball down and away doesn't catch the outside corner. It's the outer third, and he does just that. Takes it where it's pitched. The last time that LeMahieu hit leadoff prior to tonight was back in 2013, batting against Eric Stultz.
Well, you have a man hitting 400. You put him in the top of the lineup. Hope he gets that extra at bat. Gets 5 at bats. That's one of the thinkings of Bud Black and Will Myers, and gives a guy that's a good hitter an extra chance to swing the bat. Corey Dickerson struck out swinging the first time.
Look at that swing.
That is a big man swing.
And you know what? If I'm a pitcher, I love it when guys swing like that. Why? I'm going to get ahead with the fastball, and then I'm just going to tie him up in knots with that changeup again or something off speed, or go out of the zone, elevate with the fastball. See if Ian does just that.
Tying run out at second base for Colorado here in the third. Dickerson, in his brief career against the Padres, 29 games, has punished them to the tune of a .373 average and 6 home runs. Tulowitzki would be next. Two and one. In the fastball, not in the strike zone.
I think the movement out of the hand of Ian Kennedy has a lot to do with that last pitch, that last swing. Good four-seam movement away. Not like a true two-seamer, but just enough to give the illusion to Dickerson that it might be a strike. And if taken, it probably would have been called a ball.
Watch out. Off the barrier, fortunately. Well, LeMahieu with a one-out double. That should be no surprise to fans of Colorado Rockies. They lead the major leagues most doubles. An extra base hitting team. And on deck, Tulowitzki has 11 of them amongst the major league leaders. Hit well, deep left center. Myers a long run, and it's Upton who cuts in front of him and makes the catch. And Myers streaking into left center, and Upton said, "Hey, I'm going to give it my best as well." And the ball was slicing back, and that made the play for the left fielder.
Exactly right, Dick. Big out for Ian Kennedy, caught by Upton. Big out. And another big out to go here with 2 outs, with Troy Tulowitzki coming out to the plate. And Ian Kennedy, last time up, how did he take care of him? Fastball away for a strike. He's trying to make him hit that pitch off the end of the bat, not getting a solid part. He mixes it up a little bit with the curveball. Still working down. Got him with the changeup. Well out of the strike zone. Good sequence of pitches.
Chop foul by Tulowitzki on the curveball.
We talk about the hot zone of Troy Tulowitzki. Look where he likes to swing the bat. In and middle. And we preach fastballs down and away. Look at that. 143 average down and away.
Like 600 on a high inside pitch. Huh?
He likes to turn on that fastball. You betcha. And that tells you to get that top hand on top of that pitch as well, to keep it on the line or hit it hard on the ground or hit it out of the ballpark.
Kennedy and Norris with a little chat here.
You know, it's one of those conversations where the catcher is back behind home plate. Sometimes they won't even give a sign because they've been discussing what they want to throw. Sometimes they'll just decoy by putting flashes down there of fingers from Norris. A lot of pitches have been away, though, to Troy Tulowitzki.
Breaking ball ripped at third. Middlebrooks stays with it and throws him out. Well, a long out to left and a sharp shot to third, but Kennedy works out of a one-out double. It's still 1-0 Padres. Back east, A-Rod at Fenway, a laser into left, a home run that is his 6th of the season, but more importantly, number 660 to tie Willie Mays on the all-time home run list. For number 4, Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, now Mays and Rodriguez at 660. Well, what is he, 42 now, isn't he?
Getting up there. Yeah.
Acting pretty young.
And you know what? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Probably the best hitter the Yankees have right now.
Kennedy had only one official at bat this year. 0 for 1. Off the fist. Goodness, there's a magnet to third. Arenado has had 5 straight balls hit to him. The last out of the first, all 3 in the second, and Kennedy with another here to start the third.
Well, Steve Finley joins us down by the Padre dugout. He could track down some balls in center field. And when you take a look at Nolan Arenado, Steve Finley, what are your assessments of the third baseman?
Well, he just gobbles the ball up over there. It's what you want for the hot corner. You want a guy who's fearless like that. And he's very athletic. You've seen some of the throws he's already made in this game on the run like that, right on the money.
Well, he made a play in Colorado that cost the Padres a third game in that 4-game series. Will Myers drilled one between third and short with runners at second and third, and Arenado diving into the hole just took it right out of left field. And that led to a Rockies 1-run win.
He's been a bit of a defensive wrecking crew for us.
Myers walked and scored in the first inning, his 22nd run to lead the National League. When did you first start using batting gloves, Steve Finley?
Batting gloves?
Yes.
I always wore batting gloves.
That's what I said. Even in Little League?
You know what? I don't remember. I know my first bat that I did use was a Pete Rose wooden bat. It was about 28 inches long, and I hit my first home run with that. But I definitely wasn't wearing gloves. Maybe I should have stuck without them. Who knows?
Fouled by Myers.
I played with Mark Grace, who wore no gloves, and he just got his hands tough and tough and tough as the year went on. I don't know how guys get a feel for gripping the bat. I always like to feel the gloves and the pine tar. I know these guys use it, but I mean, it's definitely, they like the feel of the bat in their hands.
And he works another walk. Up twice, walked twice. Those are the 2 free passes from Eddie Butler. Jan Solarte struck out his first time.
You know, this is a situation, Steve Finley, where Bud Black, Will Myers, he can get some stolen bases for you, too. You got the left-hander up there against Butler.
Well, Butler's obviously going slow to the plate or giving something away because the hitters are really getting a good jump off him tonight.
Yeah, and he might think right along there with you, Steve, with that quick step off. And
Myers has 3 stolen bases. Padres feel he's got the potential to steal 20 bags this year.
Yeah. He was kind of twitching a little bit. I don't know if he was going to go to a secondary lead or maybe something was on right there.
Bunting for a hit the other night, stealing bases. He's starting to really feel that leadoff spot.
He can take a good lead with that 6'4" frame. He just one step and a fall, and he can make that move from there.
Oh, that's a balk, isn't it? Did he kind of start and stop there?
Looked like he stepped off straight back from here.
Gotcha. Kind of threw me for a loop right there. Let's take a look. Stepped off. There you go.
It was really close, though, to breaking his hands before he pulled his foot off there.
Kind of an awkward move. So a lot of concentration on Myers, and that may serve to benefit the hitter Solarte.
That's the one thing a good base stealer will do. Even if they're not going to steal, they try to get that attention off the hitter and on them.
And if they're thinking that way, Steve Finley, a good chance for a fastball. Solarte can get a fastball to hit.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of hitting behind Ricky Henderson one year, and I got so many fastballs right there because they would pitch over, throw over, and they would forget I was at the plate.
Delicious, huh?
It is very.
No, bluff, and then Solarte, foul ball as Morneau gloves it in the 3-foot lane leading to the first base bag. Myers back to first. 1 out here in the third. Padres scored in the first inning when Myers led off with a walk. Matt Kemp singled under Morneau's glove. Myers to third, and he scored on Justin Upton's fielder's choice.
And, you know, Mark, you can probably speak to this. When you have a runner over there that likes to steal, it doesn't take to be off that much to cause a pitch to be over the plate. You just have to miss by a few inches to put it right down the middle for one of these guys.
Absolutely, no question about that. If you can pinpoint that pitch, you bet. Usually down and away to give your catcher maybe a good chance to get up out of the crouch and throw down to second base if in fact he's going. Looks like that pitch was away.
Ball 2 strikes, Solarte.
See, my philosophy was in a situation like this, I would not be afraid to throw a changeup or a curveball, especially with 2 strikes.
It's about the top of his fastball velocity, 94. 2-2.
And this right here is a great running situation as a base runner. The pitcher doesn't want to go 3-2. A lot of times, good pitch for the hitter to put for a run and hit almost.
High fly ball, right field. Gonzalez easing back. He's got room. 2 away.
Tonight on Fox Sports San Diego, catch a new episode of Padres POV presented by Saquon Casino. Coming up, Alexi Amarista stops by to show off his new skill. Plus, the crew gets batting cage basics with Padres hitting coach Alonzo Powell. That's tonight on Fox Sports San Diego. You don't want to miss it. That's good TV. That's good stuff.
Yeah, if you love baseball, a lot of wonderful insights, personal stories, get you behind the scenes. Matt Kemp. A single to right field. And that led to a Padre run in the first inning. Only hit so far off Eddie Butler. Shift is on. So Kemp has about 100 feet of real estate to hit at on that right side.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and then you've got this over here. Look at all that room.
Yeah, if you could talk yourself into just playing hit and run right here,
yep,
you wouldn't have to hit anything to get one through the infield.
And you know what, Steve? Matt Kemp, that series in L.A. when he inside out, Clayton Kershaw set one to the right side. He stays inside the ball as well as anybody.
Just last pitch on a curveball.
Yep.
Runner goes, and it's foul back.
He had a fat one right there. But believe me, when I say fat, I know fat. This is a pitch down the middle, elevated a little bit. Looked like he had the right idea.
You know, this shift could be benefiting his swing a little bit because you do want to stay up the middle and the other way as a hitter a lot of times. With that big hole over there, just seeing that there makes you want to stay through the middle of the field. And as a result, when you get a pitch in, you just react to it, and could be part of his .333 batting average this year.
Yeah, you don't have to hit the ball that hard that way either with that big hole.
Looked as if he was trying to go to right field. Another pitch right in the heart of the plate.
Steve Finley, how tough was it for you to make the adjustment going up the ladder in classifications in the big leagues to work on hitting that inside fastball?
Well, you know what? I became a big league hitter really when I came here to San Diego and had Tony Gwynn in my ear, Merv Retman, and they really taught me to understand hitting and understand that it's just one swing that hits every pitch. You'll be able to keep your hands inside the ball. And when you're able to do that, and you can, I mean, I would watch Tony Gwynn take inside pitches and the shortstop would think we're going to hit it up the middle, and he'd hit it right where they left. And it took me to do that a couple of times to realize that that's how he gets so many hits. Nobody can actually anticipate where he's going to hit it. When you can take that inside pitch and hit it anywhere, you have the pitcher right where you want him.
In the dirt, good play by Hundley to keep that one from going to the screen.
This is really a good at-bat by Matt Kemp.
So Myers will get a free jump from first base. Morneau's going to play behind him.
Well, he threw him a 2-2 breaking ball to go 3-2. Let's see if he doubles up on it.
50 pitches now for Butler. In the third.
I'm guessing breaking ball right here, a little slider.
Got him. And for Eddie Butler, his second strikeout. After 3 here at Petco, the Padres lead 1-0.
Can walk, or you can ride your bicycle, which is exactly what Matt Stoltz did, except you drove your bike all the way from Oakland, California. It's part of your initiative to get to all 30 baseball stadiums within the year. First off, why?
Yeah, so it's kind of just a crazy idea that I thought of a few years back and thought, why not? I figured out it was feasible, and that was enough for me to try to do it. So I started in Seattle on opening day, and I've been navigating my way down the coast, checking out different ballparks, and it's been a blast so far. I've met a lot of great people.
So where have you been and where's next? And then along with that, do the legs feel like spaghetti noodles yet?
Yeah, so you definitely get pretty tired biking every day, 90 to 100 miles, and it gets pretty tiring pretty quick, but I've been able to check out games in Seattle, San Francisco, Oakland, and here in San Diego, and I'm going to pop up back to LA. The way the schedule worked, it kind of made more sense to come to San Diego first and then pop back up to LA for the Dodgers and Angels. And yeah, it's been a heck of an adventure, and there's a whole lot more left.
Well, I can tell you can already see the tan lines on him. And we joke about this, but this is all for a good cause. Tell us a little bit about Biking for Baseball and how people can donate.
Yeah, so it's an organization that really loves youth mentoring. Kids need those mentors in their lives, whether it's a parent, teacher, coach, or just any sort of mentor. So we partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we really want to support that. And it's a great organization. We put on youth baseball clinics in cities across the country for the kids and their mentors, and it's a blast. And if people want to donate, they can go to bikingforbaseball.org, or they can also follow us on Twitter, biking4baseball. And we're pretty active on social media, which makes it a lot more fun to follow along.
Well, that's so much fun. I really appreciate the time, Matt. Dick, over 11,000 miles on the bike. That's a lot of calories to burn and a lot of food to eat afterwards.
Don't show my wife Barbara that. She does that San Francisco to San Diego ride every year. You see where he started in Seattle, and he's going to weave his way through Texas down to Florida, then up the East Coast. I saw, wasn't that a Milwaukee hat he was wearing?
It was.
So I guess that's his final destination. What an effort.
That's great. Wish you nothing but the best there, Matt. Safe travels and a great cause.
Nolan Arenado flied to right his first time. Another one to right field, and that one is toward the gap. Kemp cuts it off. A long single for Arenado. The second hit tonight for Colorado.
You know, as a pitcher, I'll give Arenado that. You try to hit your spot away. You keep him in the ballpark. It's not an extra base hit. It looked like it was a fastball away from Ian Kennedy. Let's check it out. Four-seam fastball. It was up. Good plate coverage. Arenado does a nice job. Front foot down, hands are back, and the eyes right on the barrel of that bat. That was nice hitting right there, don't you think, Steve Finley?
That is textbook. That ball was probably a little off the plate, and he really stayed on it and really took his whole body towards that right center gap.
Cargo struck out swinging the first time. Shift on. Middlebrooks now about halfway between third and second base. In on the grass. As Gonzalez will try to bunt his way on, beat the shift. Amarista in that awkward position. Should Gonzalez hit a potential double play ball, then Amarista, he might have to go in different directions. I mean, he's playing on the other side from his normal position, and then he's the man who has to do the relay work.
You know, watching Gonzalez mechanics his last at bat and this at bat, they don't look like they're that off, but he sure is missing in a lot of pitches on his swings.
Yeah, see, I noticed that early too, Steve. In the first inning, Dickerson was having trouble with the fastball. Gonzalez having trouble with the fastball. Four-seam fastball, about 92, 93 from Ian Kennedy.
That'll sail down in the souvenir corner. And the count, 2 strikes on Gonzalez. .2010 hit .336. He's a lifetime .294 hitter. Two-time All-Star.
You figure that 197 is not going to last too long, but we want to keep him down, get through this series.
He won the National League batting title with that .336 average 2010 season. Gold Glove outfielder, Silver Slugger hitter.
Late on the fastball again.
Two surgeries last year, and removed a tumor from his left index finger, and another to repair a kneecap, his left kneecap, in August. And finished the year at .238, well under all expectations. Fly ball softly and right. Kemp has to hurry and gets there for the catch.
It's the haircut. It's cutting down wind resistance. I walked in the clubhouse today, and Matt Kemp is walking around with the shaved dome. Cutting down on the cabbage. Long run. Probably fooled by the swing because Matt Kemp moved back a little bit on the run. Big out. Keeping the runner at first base, and a guy who knows a lot about outfield play. A Gold Glover himself, Steve Finley. What'd you think of that catch?
Well, the hard part about that catch is the way that Gonzalez swung the bat, and to pull ball into the outfield like that coming off the end of the bat, your initial reaction is to want to break back. He got a great jump on that ball and fantastic finish.
So 2 outs. And another look at Kemp charging hard.
Well, you know what's really impressive about Kemp is that he's playing right field. He's a Gold Glove center fielder, and now he's playing right. Like, such a big bonus for the Padres to have him out there.
I think our good friend, the late, great Jerry Coleman, would have hung a star on that one, right?
I think he would have. Nick Hundley, the hitter, 2 outs, and Arenado still at first base. Nick walked the first time. Speaking of Jerry Coleman, you see what that Devon Travis, the Toronto second baseman, did to Jerry Coleman? He had a terrific April, did Travis, for the Blue Jays. His slugging percentage was .625, and he broke the record, the rookie record of Jerry Coleman,
really,
who held the slugging percentage mark as a second baseman, rookie second baseman, back in 1949, .575.
Wow.
Coleman slugging percentage.
Long ball Coleman. That's what he would call himself, right? That's great.
So a chance to refresh how important Jerry Coleman was to all our lives. 2 strikes. Hundley.
Steve Finley, you had to be thrilled when you won that Gold Glove, huh?
It was. I remember getting the call at the house, you know, that I had won. I didn't even know what to think because it was not even in my realm of possibilities. Andy Van Slyke was getting it every year in center field. And when I got the call, I remember just grinning from ear to ear.
That's maybe the most beautiful trophy in all the sport.
I think you're right, Dick. Rob Rawlings does a nice job, Steve.
No, I proudly display that at home. You know, and it's a real testament to the hard work that I did in the outfield and the pride that I took in my defense.
Well, Hundley battling Kennedy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good cut by Hundley. High and inside.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to jam him. You see the Fox Tracks brought to you by Southland Technology. Ian Kenny trying to pump that fastball in to Nick Hundley. A couple of pitches have leaked. Outer half rather.
Kennedy using primarily the fastball, the changeup, not many breaking balls.
Yeah. Seems like the breaking ball has been for show, just to give the hitter a different look.
On the paint.
Just off the corner. Derek Norris did his part to try to frame it, but pitch number 6 off the plate just a little bit.
So 2-2 to Nick. Pops him out left side. Amarista calls. And that's it for the Rockies in the 4th. They get the second hit of the night off Kennedy Arenado, but nothing more. It'll be Justin Upton. Home run swing that'll lead off the 4th inning for the Padres. Brought to you by your San Diego Lexus dealer and by Petco. What we feed them matters. With Mark Grant, Steve Finley, Chris Budden, Dick Enberg. Welcome back to beautiful Petco Park, the first game of this weekend 3-game series. Padres lead it 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Middle 3 of the Padre order: Justin Upton, Derek Norris, and Yonder Alonso for San Diego. Upton drove in the only run of the game with a fielder's choice in the first. Big swing at the off speed. He likes that ball belt high on the inside corner. Does a good job with the outside high pitch, hitting 400 up there.
Loves to turn on the fastball. 700 average in.
Ooh, hit by a pitch. With the leadoff man on.
Oh, I could just hear my former teammate with the San Francisco Giants, Jeffrey Leonard, Pac-Man. After a pitch like that, he would yell from the dugout, "We got that same pitch!" As Upton takes one for the team.
If you're going to get hit, that's a good place to get hit.
Yes.
Just a little glancing blow.
Not on the elbow, but up on the upper arm. So, Padre leadoff man on, Derek Norris. He started a string of 5 straight Padres who grounded out to Arenado at third base. Upton stole his second base after driving in a run in the first inning.
That's one of those hit by pitches where the dugout, everybody starts yelling, "Hey, let's make that hurt for them," right? Leadoff guy getting aboard. You got the middle of the order coming up. Do some damage.
Absolutely. I was looking at Butler's numbers that he doesn't have a quality start yet this year, but his ERA is not bad. So I'm wondering if he's having trouble getting in deeper into games. Because he does have a 3.27 ERA, I think I saw.
It is 3.27. He throws this one away after hitting Upton. Now Upton going to try to make it to third base. LeMahieu's long throw across. Not in time. And that almost got away. Arenado using the bluff, trying to get Upton to bait it and head toward home. So a hit by pitch and a 2-base throwing error.
Well, that'll make it hurt even more. Throwing way off, nearly hitting the umpire, Angel Hernandez on the outfield side. Upton's a flash look, and he's going to take it himself. Picks up Glenn Hoffman. And here's the bluff you're talking about, Dick. Arenado as the pop-up slide. Arenado gives the illusion like that ball's getting away, but Upton is not biting.
So, without the aid of a base hit, with no one out, the Padres have a man 90 feet away from adding to their 1-0 lead. Infield comes in. Inside.
Steve Finley, you were talking about that no quality starts for Eddie Butler as you take a look at the infield. And when you look at his numbers, the 22 innings, a lot of base runners, 24 hits. He's given up 13 walks, 13 strikeouts. So my guess is that, the pitch count's been getting him.
Possibly just not getting to the 6th inning.
Right.
Yeah, he's averaging 5.3 walks per 9 innings. So his own wildness, and that's played in the game tonight. A couple of walks and a hit batsman. All right, infield tied hitters delight. Steve Finley, when you came up and the infield was tight like that, what was your mindset?
Looking for a pitch up in the zone a little bit. Anything up, doesn't matter if it's breaking ball, changeup, fastball, something you can drive to the center of the field.
Looked like Norris was trying to go to right field.
This is something we practice in BP too. You'll do a round where you do a hit and run, move a runner over from second to third, practice an infield back and an infield in ball. And it's just always good to practice that, so when you get in the box, it's something you've already done.
Alonso on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Padre catcher. Up the middle, right on cue. And the Padres take a 2-0 lead as Norris delivers Upton.
Steve Finley, there's that pitch you're talking about. You know, it was up just enough, put a good swing on it, big part of the field, as you were saying.
Well, they're playing him in a normal position on the infield. There's a lot of hits up the middle like that. Even if you hit the ball on the ground, you saw what happened right there.
So the hit batsman, two-base throwing error by Eddie Butler, and Norris delivers a sharp single to center. Padres lead 2-0. That's number 12 in the RBI column for Derek Norris. And he continues to be tough with runners in scoring position. 10 for 17. That's a .588 average. Runners in scoring position for Norris.
I think he's fifth in the national, third or fifth in the National League in that number.
He's with the elite, absolutely. Alonso grounded to third his first time. Lines that one, slicing. Fair ball into the corner. Holding at third is Norris on a double by Alonso. That's yonder strength, using the entire field.
And Steve Finley, you look at this inning, Derek Norris, nice easy swing up the middle. Alonso taking that ball exactly where it was pitched.
Well, I noticed Alonso, the last probably 4 or 5 games, he was rolling over on a lot of pitches. And his first at bat tonight, he hit that hard ground ball to the shortstop when they were playing the shift on him. So this is just fitting right, getting him back to where he was at the beginning of the season, where he's really driving the ball the other way, taking advantage of what the pitcher's giving him.
And when you say he's rolling over, that means he's trying to pull an outside pitch, right?
Sometimes it's a factor of your mechanics. You're not trying to do it, but your mechanics are off a little bit and your hands just roll over.
Well, here it is again. Infield tied, hitter's delight for Will Middlebrooks, and he grounds it up the middle on a broken bat, and there's a little collision there. What's going to happen here? Everyone's safe. The runner at second base, Alonso and Tulowitzki, physically running into one another, but there's no interference or obstruction called by second base umpire Scott Berry. Here comes Walt Weiss.
I'm guessing, was the runner behind him as he was making an attempt?
Well, it looks like right there, Tulowitzki thought he had the ball and was going to tag him, and when it wasn't in his glove, I mean, that's a great no call for the umpire.
Well, the rule states that the infielder always has the right to the baseball. And judging by that look right there, it looked like Tulowitzki had a good clean shot to that ground ball. Was contact made after the ball hit his glove?
There may be a conference here. All 4 umpires are going to meet with Scott Berry. I'm surprised that
it didn't appear that there was any hindrance to Tulowitzki going after the ball. He was going to turn around right there and tag him.
And you know what, Steve? I think the ball hit his glove before Alonso made contact. Let's take a look. Contact, then right there.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that is what the umpire, Scott Berry, is calling as they are now having a conference. Alonso did not prevent Tulowitzki from fielding that baseball.
It's kind of one of those gray areas.
Yeah.
We'll see what they come up with.
Yeah, there was contact, and it may have impacted the play, and that's, I'm sure, what they're discussing now. At the moment, the bases are loaded with no one out. You saw the shattered bat, also a part of that whole sequence.
You know, I don't know if there was some miscommunication between the third base coach and him. You know, that he's going on contact or making the ball go through. It's a tough play for the guy out at second.
Taking a long time to review what each umpire saw. Let's see how they resolve the call.
I like the fact that they walked over to Walt to explain it and didn't walk to our dugout.
Yes. It may be that, you know, in part, Alonso was in a straight line, his path to the base. He did not vary away from it. He has the right to stay on the path.
In the way I looked at that, Alonso did not hinder Troy Tulowitzki from fielding that baseball. As soon as the ball hit his glove, that's when they made contact.
And it even looked like Tulowitzki kind of leaned backwards because he was going to try to tag him to stop his momentum going back to second.
Now watch, does Alonso hinder him from fielding the ball? No, he did not. until he made contact, the ball bounces off his glove, then contact is made. But Troy Tulowitzki has a clear shot of fielding that baseball without being hindered by the runner, Alonso.
So the ruling will be at E6 on Tulowitzki.
I think it's a great veteran attempt on his part to try to draw interference.
So bases loaded, no one out for Alexi Amarista. He grounded to third his first time. 2-0 Padres here in the bottom of the fourth. Strike one. Pitcher Kennedy on deck.
This is a big at bat right here with Kennedy on deck. To get Amarista at least get one run in right here.
They give Alexi all of right center. One and one. Butler has been consistent with the velocity on that fastball. Another at 94.
Alexi Amarista, look at how close he is that line to home plate. Up on the plate.
Foul ball off third. And that'll land just behind the third base dugout.
Now, Steve Finley, you were the hitter. When I look at a hitter like Amarista up on the plate like that, that means to me as a pitcher, he really wants to try to turn on the inside fastball, and he's very conscious of that inside fastball. How about you as a hitter?
Well, you know, as a hitter, you got to stay away. But you know, Alexi hit that home run. We hope that's not in his mind. Right now, he just needs to keep his eyes out over the plate and put a ball in play any way he can. Doesn't matter if it's a ground ball, double play. Just get a ball in play right here.
Infield back, they'll trade a double play for a run. If the ball's hit sharply to one of the corners, then they could come home first and get the force there. Amarista, with only 2 RBIs all season, could get a handful here. Off his fist, rolled to second, bobbled by LeMahieu. Everyone safe. It's 3-0. 3 errors by the Rockies here in the fourth inning. We told you earlier this has been a team playing great defense, and in their 11 wins committing just 2 errors. They've made 3 in the 1 inning. That may be a case of LeMahieu thinking double play before the ball was secured. Amarista does get an RBI.
Too quick on the transfer.
You know, sometimes as a player, you try to create something whenever it's just not there, and that's kind of a case. That ball right there was not going to be a double play with Alexi running. Just take the out and move on to the pitcher.
They're on the air by LeMahieu. Norris scores. Alonso over to third. Middlebrooks to second. Amarista at first, and Ian Kennedy. Red-headed hitter against red-headed pitcher. Couple of red beards in this duel. Bases loaded. Kennedy has delivered some hits in his career. Same situation, infield back, although Morneau comes in at first and Arenado at third is in on the grass in case Kennedy has any bunting design. He wasn't bunting there.
Well, the advantage if he were to bunt for Butler and the Rockies, if it's right back to him, it's just a force play at home plate. Shovel it to Nick Hundley.
Oh, stopped him up. Infield fly rule, and LeMahieu with the out. So 1 away. Bases loaded to the leadoff man, Will Myers. Padres with some generous help defensively from the Rockies here in the fourth inning have built their lead to 3-0. And a chance for more as Myers, up twice, has walked both times. There's no team in the major leagues that has been more successful in turning the double play than the Rockies. Myers with good speed and good power. Strike one right down the middle.
Looking for the knuckleball, maybe.
Man, he wants that one back. Outfield straight up. You can draw a straight line. Home plate, pitcher's mound, second base is Stubbs is right up the gut.
And the count 2 strikes now on Myers. Solarte on deck. Started when Upton was hit by a pitch. Throwing error by Butler, trying to pick him off. Moved Upton around to third, where he scored on Norris's single to center. Then Alonso doubled into the left field corner. Then errors. Middlebrooks safe on Tulowitzki's error, and Amarista on LeMahieu's error.
Hey, be heads up right here. 0-2, breaking ball in the dirt, get away. Good secondary lead for Yonder Alonso at third base. Possibly get another run out of it.
Yes, he can take a bigger lead because you got Arenado all the way back on the grass.
Right field, that's dying. That could be trouble. It's falling in a hurry. Just foul. That would have scored at least 2 more.
I thought that one had a chance.
Myers staring out at the spot. About 3-4 feet foul.
Hey, Steve Finley, you were referring to Arenado at third base. Something I learned in Little League a long time ago. As a runner right here, take that lead as far as the third baseman is playing off, right?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. I mean, he's way back. I'm going to keep walking off, walking off, and walking off.
96. That's the fastest of the night for Eddie Butler.
Actually, I just told a lie. Because in Little League, you can't lead off. I meant like Pony League and Colt League.
Right. I know. We all knew.
It's illegal to lead off in Little League.
Well, the only way for him to the only way for him to do a pickoff is he'd have to take off running the minute the pitcher throws the ball to home plate, and he's not going to do that right now.
That's right.
Hit it bad by Myers. Stays alive. 1-2. Meanwhile, on the bench, Kennedy and pitching coach Balsley going over what they feel about the first 4 innings of the game, Ian allowing only 2 hits. Two and two.
Oh, fish ain't biting out there. Talk about the hot zone for Will Myers. Oh, you think he likes the ball middle, in, and up? You betcha. Where's his kryptonite? Down and down and in. He can get extended 286 down and away now. He'll take that little flare out to right center field.
Just a little low. Full count, and now the pressure on Butler. Throw a strike or throw a run. Christian Bergman in the bullpen. For a man who's had trouble with walks this year, 5.3 walks per 9 innings. Bases loaded, has to throw a strike. Crowd tried to disrupt, and Myers waiting for something he can punish. One out. Padre over every pillow, and 2 runs home here in the 4th. Alonso, Middlebrooks, Amarista ready to roll. The ball is fouled past third.
3-2 slider.
Ninth pitch of this at bat coming up.
I think he's throwing another breaking ball here.
And another foul.
Great job of hanging in.
10 pitch at bat coming up. After Solarte, Matt Kemp. "76 pitches for Butler to get 10 outs.
Hey, those are good at bats right there, making the pitcher work for Will Myers. Pitch is seen.
Another foul. Well, the fans like it. There are lots of souvenirs being tossed into the stands by Myers.
I like what Will Myers is doing here. He is really stepping out of the box, collecting his thoughts, and getting himself reset on the at-bat right here. This many pitches, it's a mental grind.
6 fouls in this sequence by Myers. Struck him out. Now you got to hand it to Butler. On the 11th pitch of the at-bat, he finally fans Myers.
11 pitches. First one is probably the best one, right down the middle. Butler, he's thrown the changeup tonight. He's thrown the curveball. And as Steve Finley said, the breaking ball down the way, but fighting off some good pitches in. Now he starts the heavy dose of breaking balls. We got the 3-2. Finished him off with a fastball. Elevated that one just a little bit.
So Solarte with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
So he went soft, elevated fastball. Couldn't catch up.
Strikeout, fly out so far tonight for Jan. Clutch hitter, 4 for 6 with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Long inning for Eddie Butler.
I believe Solarte is one of the other Padres that's up there. I think he's 5 or 6 in the National League with the runners in scoring position
yes,
this year.
He is, Steve.
Back to home plate, now to play.
It's 563 going into this game with 8 RBIs with runners in scoring positions. Tied for 3rd best in Major League Baseball for Yankervis Solarte.
That is clutch.
That is. And the Friars working up a ladder out there. He's got the shillelagh working.
31st pitch of the inning for Eddie Butler. With a count 1-2.
We need a power shillelagh right here from Solarte.
Line drive, base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes the 2nd run. And now caught in a rundown is Amarista. They haven't gotten him yet. And finally the tag made. And the inning comes to an end. But Solarte delivers Alonso and Middlebrooks. And the Padres a 4-run inning on 3 hits and 3 Rocky errors. And it's 5-0 San Diego. And here's our cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Rockies' last 13 games here at Petco have managed only 3 wins and scored just an average of 2.4 runs a game while batting .200. Slugging percentage very low as well. A pattern that the Padres hope can continue, and so far so good with a 5-0 lead after 4.
Great at bat by Yangervis Solarte. That was fun to watch. Fighting one off, patting the lead.
He just quietly knocked in 14 runs this year. It's just a 2 behind the leader, Matt Kemp. Drew Stubbs, then the pitcher spot, Butler and LeMahieu. We're guessing there'll be a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and it's Daniel Descalzo at a walk-off RBI in Colorado. That ball hit a ton by Stubbs. He finally has his first hit of the year, and you knew it was going to be a big one with his power. A home run. He's now 1 for 22. But if you're going to get your first hit, might as well be a big one, huh? 5-1 now, Padres.
Oh, it's a 1-1. Let's check it out what it is here. Out of the hand, it's a changeup. Hanging changeup, middle in. Speeds up the bat.
Well, there's a lot of frustration in that swing, you could tell.
Yeah, and you know what, Steve Finley? Something we didn't see last year, which we've mentioned quite a bit this year. With the offense of the Padres, now it's okay. A solo shot makes it 5-1, whereas last year it might have tied the game, might even put them in the lead 1-0. So it gives Ian Kennedy a chance to go deeper in the game. It gives him a little bit of breathing room.
It takes the pressure off the pitcher all the way around. He's got good defense behind him, a good offense. You can go out there and give up a couple of runs and still get a W.
Descalzo takes a strike.
Now the key is bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you give up the solo shot. Forget about it. Make some good pitches.
Descalzo with a pinch hit single in the bottom of the 9th inning. The walk-off base hit in the Rockies' 5-4 win a week ago Wednesday. Good contact hitter. Former Cardinal. Two and two.
Oh, he may have swung at ball 3 right there. Ball down and in.
When you're a pinch hitter coming off the bench, you're looking for dead red, and when you get it, you got to go for it. No need waiting around until you get a strike or two.
Breaking ball 3-2.
Kind of worked around that last one.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. For Kennedy, strikeout number 5. And top of the order, DJ LeMahieu. You can follow the Padres all season in 2015 with MLB.com. At Bat, the number 1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the minute at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. At MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. LeMahieu looks at a slider outside, has walked and doubled to right. Home run by Stubbs, measured at 388 feet. One and one.
Still got the velocity, 92. That's what Ian Kennedy had out of the chute this evening. And here on pitch number 81, 92.
3 balls and a strike.
You know, the last few pitches for Ian Kennedy seems like he's kind of the arm angle just dropping a little bit and working around it. Hence the ball's away off the plate to DJ LeMahieu.
You wonder if that long inning setting over there got him a little stiff.
Could be. That one was up on top a little bit more, the arm angle. And you know what, Steve Finley, it's a fine line, isn't it? It's like a hitter, kind of like dropping the hands a little bit, working underneath the baseball rather than staying on top of it, correct?
It is a fine line. It doesn't take much to miss by just a few inches, and a few inches can be the difference between on the barrel and on the label.
Falling off the facing of the third deck all the way down to the aisle below. And scramble. Friday fiesta night for the San Diego Padres and their fans. The fans having a good time. Late arriving crowd. Good house here on a Friday night. Hope to see you here tomorrow night. And Sunday afternoon. Chop to second. Solarte. 2 away.
Time now to check the Cholula flamethrower. Ian Kennedy on the hill tonight. And it goes up to 94. And Steve Finley, what's that?
That is some cheese.
With some hot sauce. Cheese and hot sauce.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
I'll take that. I will take that. Nicely done, Steve Finley.
Yeah, that's a hitter for you. Corey Dickerson has struck out and a long out to left field.
You know, I will say this, and I've said this before, but I was fortunate enough to wear a Houston Astros uniform in 1993 for a little bit. And when Steve Finley was patrolling center field, I'll tell you what, that was a good feeling, seeing the Greyhound out there, running them down.
Is that what you called him, the Greyhound?
The Whippet, yeah. The Greyhound. He could, oh, man.
Well, my philosophy was if I couldn't hit, I better be able to catch.
Well, you did a lot of both, my friend.
Sharply hit. Alonso covers well and takes it to the bag for the out. Drew Stubbs breaks the shutout bid of Ian Kennedy. A solo blast. We're at the halfway mark in this one. Padres 5, Rockies 1. Eric Morris up the middle makes the Padres a 2-0 leader in the 4th inning on their way to scoring 4 runs. This one on LeMahieu's error at second base, and Marisa hits 3-0, and then a drive by Solarte with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and 2 more Padres score. Middlebrooks and Alonso, and San Diego has a 5-0, now a 5-1 lead. New pitcher Christian Bergman making his 6th appearance, 1 start. Brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
Bergman throws a fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, 87-92. Not that overpowering. Nice ERA in the early going. 3 free passes in 12 1/3 innings of work.
He'll face Kemp, Upton, and Norris. Matt has grounded a single to right and struck out tonight.
He allowed his first run of the season Tuesday at Arizona, Christian Bergman did. There's that changeup.
Shift employed again by the Rockies on Kemp. Made his major league debut last year, did Bergman. Came up in June and stayed with the big club. Was 3-5, 10 starts. 1-2. Matt Kemp, who has his share of career home runs, but most against any one team, the Rockies, 30 times. And that's more than any other hitter against Colorado. High fly ball. He got a lot of that one going the opposite field. And Gonzalez in the heavy air able to track it down. Off the bat sounded pretty good. One away. Brings up Justin Upton. Knocked in a run on a fielder's choice ground ball in the first inning for the early 1-0 lead. Was hit by a pitch, and that's what started the 4-run go-around in the 4th inning. Came around to score himself, the first of the 4 runs.
Bergman's one of those guys for the Rockies that can start. Last year started 10 games for the Rocks. As Matt Kemp a little hungry, eating his batting gloves. Nice change up there, but it's always nice to have one of those swing guys in that bullpen. Bergman being one of those pitchers.
You can do the spot start or the long relief as he's being called upon tonight.
Last year he started 10 games for the Rockies. 10 games, 10 starts.
2-2. Base hit to right. The strength of Upton fooled. He had taken his stride, locked, and he just used his wrist to flick a single to right field.
Absolutely.
Love hits like that. You're butting the other dugout, stick the bat out, and flip it to the other way.
Well, it looks good in HD, and today's game is presented in HD by Sony 4K. 1-out single.
That's exactly what you were talking about, Dick. Foot was down, hand was back. A flick of the wrists, and that's a big league knock.
Derek Norris has knocked in a run and scored a run. 1 for 2 tonight. Norris with the infield end, drove a sharp single to center field in the 4th inning to knock in 1 of the 4 runs. Again, coming through with runners in scoring position. Hitting well over 500 on the season. Many hits. Soft fly ball back to short. Tulowitzki out and can't make the play. On his way to third is Upton, and he's in there because there's no one covering. The pitcher finally got over there, but Good alert base running by Justin Upton. Took the extra 90 on a soft single to left by Derek Norris.
What a great read right there. He didn't even hesitate. He looked and saw Arenado hanging out by the infield, back of the infield grass, and just kept running.
And Steve Finley, this is where, as a pitcher, you can always become a fielder, right? You have to look at the play. You have to look at third base. You see a lot of times pitchers going over there to cover, and there it is right there, the open base. I'm going to take it.
Well, I would say that's the one time Arenado's got caught being a spectator out on the field. He knows it, too. You can tell it over at third base.
Alonso with a chance to add to the 5-1 lead. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Alonso doubled into the left field corner in the 4th inning and later scored. Two and 0.
There's one of those plays we talked about earlier. He's way back over there. He's got to make a break, and he did that time when the pitcher started to throw home.
Arenado not only deep but well off the line. 2 and 1. Another soft fly ball. Right field. Long run for Gonzalez. He can't get there. Neither can LeMahieu. Everyone's safe. Run scores up and it's 6-1. Oh, the Padres hitters killing them with kindness. Couple of bloop base hits as they run 3 straight singles together and produce another run.
Oh, you got to love it. The outfielder, the infielder converging. LeMahieu, Gonzalez plays perfectly. Tell you what, Steve Finley, you played the outfield. I don't know if it was lack of communication or what, but the Upton had it was caught in no man's land. He sees it hit, and he's off. But to me, looking at that replay, I don't know, maybe Carlos Gonzalez should have called him off and maybe tried to get to that baseball.
Well, I saw LeMahieu right there put up his glove like he was going to catch it. So, you know, but even if you can catch it as an outfielder coming in with a runner on third, you want to catch it every time. Actually, you just want to catch it every time if you can. It's a tough play for an outfielder to try to come in right there for an infielder to go catch that ball going away from the infield.
So LeMahieu's name and number towards the infield. Oh, boy, you're right. He put up his hand and wow.
Didn't come close to getting there.
Not even close.
So first and second, a run home, 1 out. And Middlebrooks, the hitter, safe on an error last time. That was the play, ground ball to Tulowitzki with Alonso at second, and there was a contact, but ruled an error on Tulo. The Padres with a 6-1 lead swing away from really blowing this wide open. Tap to third. Arenado will get the force at third. And safe at first, Middlebrooks with 2 outs. It'll bring up Emerista. Alexi, ground ball to LeMahieu that he bobbled, and a run scored. Emerista credited with an RBI in the play. Ian Kennedy on deck. Two and 0. Tulowitzki will go to first base in time for the out. Padres, though, add a run on a couple of blue hits. They'll take them. It's 6-1.
All new tonight, where host Ali Sturm learns karate with a little ninja.
The little ninja in the clubhouse, he said, okay. I like it, little ninja. So everybody, okay, that's your nickname in San Diego.
Following POV tonight is an all-new 1360.
Frank Reich came down the steps at Chargers Park with the biggest smile on his face.
Yes.
And he is clapping his hands and he is saying, yeah, yeah. I mean, he was clearly fired up.
Yeah, that's part of the lineup after the ball game tonight. Plenty of sports and baseball activity and information for you, so stay with us. We got plenty left to go here, however. 5 innings in the books, and the Padres with a 6-1 lead. Tulowitzki, Morneau, and Arenado for the Rockies here in the 6th. One and one to Tulo. He struck out. Hard smash at third baseman Middlebrooks, who threw him out in the 3rd. Kennedy giving up only 3 hits and the 1 run, Drew Stubbs' home run. Pops him up, back of the plate. Norris might have a play. No, just over the screen into the 3rd row.
You know, I really like what I'm seeing in Ian Kennedy tonight. Trying to spot the fastball and the changeup has been the #1 secondary pitch for Ian. We know he throws the curveball. We know he throws the slider. Sure, he has thrown that breaking ball, but a lot of confidence tonight in that slider. Showed it early. Got some strikeouts, got some swings and misses. And the left-hander, Bud Black, has his hat off, is pacing in the dugout, watching Ian Kennedy trying to complete 6 full innings of work here.
Line drive to Alonso, and that's how the game goes. Hit so hard, Tulowitzki wasn't out of the batter's box, but 1 step. Here, the last half of the 5th inning, the Padres hit a couple of little soft mortar shots to the outfield for hits, and then Tulowitzki blisters 1 for an out.
That is a big league hang with him. We got a man there.
Got a big old glove just to snare a base hit away. Justin Morneau has grounded out twice. Right to Alonso. 2 away.
Be huge for Ian Kennedy to have a quick inning.
Arenado the batter.
We saw Darren Balsley, the pitching coach for the Padres, on the horn. And with that, we have action in the Padre bullpen. Kevin Quackenbush and newly acquired, recently recalled from AAA El Paso, Nick Vincent, the pride and joy of Ramona, California.
You bet. He's happy to be back, isn't he? Did a good job down at El Paso and earned his way back to the big club. So 2 outs to Arenado, who's flying to right and single to right. And again aims that down the right field line and slicing away and into the crowd. I know a lot of you just tuning in. You're go back and forth. You're checking all the other action in sports on your television sets and may have been watching the NFL draft. And for those of you who haven't, the Chargers had 2 picks, the 48th overall and the 83rd overall, after picking the running back Gordon from Wisconsin yesterday, their #1 pick. With their 2nd pick, they selected a linebacker, Denzel Perryman from the University of Miami. And with their 3rd round pick, Craig Major, a cornerback from Texas State. A couple of defensive players with the 2 and 3 picks. Swing and miss on a changeup. Arenado 1 and 2.
That's probably one of the better changeups that Ian Kennedy has thrown tonight.
One's going to change itself close to the wall and over the wall. And Arenado has hit it out. His 4th home run of the season. We told you, with the glove and the bat, this is one of the sterling young players in the National League.
Boy, what a great effort by Justin Upton in left field. As Arenado got underneath that one, it was high enough, enabling Upton, as we take a look, up in, got under it a little bit, Now Justin Upton is on his horse, right? He's timing it. He's trying to jump up there and leap, and with that shorter wall out there, it gives him a greater chance. Oh, he did a nice job. I mean, you know, it was still far away. I mean, what, a couple feet?
But he used his strength to get up on top of the wall and push himself even higher. Came close.
Those are the kind of plays you dream about as an outfielder. Obviously not going over your glove, but going in your glove.
6-2 Padres lead. A couple of solo home runs accounting for the Rocky scores. Gonzalez fouls it into the glove of Norris. 0-2. He is struck out and sent a soft fly to right that Matt Kemp made a diving catch back in the fourth.
1-2 fastball hit by Arenado. Just didn't get up and in enough for me and Kennedy.
100th pitch. 21 pitch first inning. Got off to a slow start in terms of the economy of effort. Pretty solid sense. Got him. Fastball strikes out Gonzalez. That's the 6th for Kennedy. Buck gives up his second home run of the night. Padres lead cut to 4. There's a chance to update the DraftKings players to watch. Well, some advice thrown out in the pregame show, and maybe you took Jock Peterson a grand slam, so that would be a good score, I would guess.
Well, we saw Jock Peterson in spring training swing the bat very well, and Ruby De La Rosa on the hill for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he did want to pick him.
Yeah, last time out against the Pirates, he threw extremely well. Mike Trout, always a threat. And how about the Angels and Giants, Dick? The rematch of 2002 World Series. Halos, Gigantes going at it tonight.
The Padres get a chance to visit Anaheim, play the Angels this year. So Kennedy goes 6 innings, allows 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 of them home runs, walked 2, struck out 6. Will Venable batting for him. Myers and Solarte to follow against Christian Bergman. That's a solid comeback from the scuffling effort against the Dodgers after he came off the DL. And has to please the manager. High fly ball, shallow and left. Dickerson. What a way.
Well, you know what, Ian Kennedy, way to bounce back after the last outing. He did one heck of a job. 6 innings. He had the fastball work at the 4-seam fastball, 92-93. He worked in the changeup for the swing and miss. Went up the ladder to a need it. 6 solid innings, 4 hits. He walked a couple of Rockies, and he struck out 6. A job well done. Fight on. USC.
Will Myers, a couple of walks and a strikeout in his 3 at-bats.
And you know another thing, Mr. Enberg, is that a couple of home runs given up by Ian Kenny didn't hurt him. Solo shots, thanks to the offense tonight.
It's interesting. The Padres were hit with that malady. Not that they hit many home runs last year, but when they did, often it was just a solo shot. Not so this year. They're making their home runs count. Of 23 homers, 13 are solo, but 7 are 2-run. 2 of them are 3-run, and a grand slam thrown in there. Two balls and a strike for the leadoff hitter Myers. Off the head of the bat, Morneau. That ball had a lot of twist to it, and he just does recover and throws out Myers. That ball spinning off the head of the bat, cued to Morneau. Almost had to take your foot and step on it to keep that thing from spinning into the ground.
Got him in the heel. Didn't panic. And a nice job of Bergman covering. Staying to the fair side of that bag, not getting run up the backside there.
So 2 outs to Jan Solarte. A key blow in this game. A 2-out, 2-run single in the 4th inning. Kept that 4-run 4th. So the RBI race for the Padre lead is an interesting one, isn't it? Matt Kemp leads with 16. Will Myers has 15. And Upton with these. And Solarte with that 2-run single with 14. And unlike the other 3, Solarte not an everyday player, and more than he is not. But boy, his numbers are surprising and overlooked by a lot of fans. He's a tough out. They shift on him now. 3 on the right side, and Arenado walking his way closer to second base. And he hits into the shift. LeMahieu to first. A 1-2-3 inning for Bergman. To the 7th. Padres 6, Rockies 2. Padres baseball brought to you by Sequan Casino. Only 30 minutes from Petco Park. By Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. And by Jerome's Furniture, proud sponsor of the best seats in the house. That great new score board out at left field, and all the animation and imagination and creativity, and they borrowed from the Disney movie about the
Mighty Ducks.
The quack 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 fight song, and as Kevin Quackenbush comes to the mound.
Oh, so well played. And you see the numbers early on this season for Kevin. Splits a little high, the ERA a little high, but one outing, give up an earned run or two. But I feel a streak from this bullpen coming, scoreless inning streak.
Nick Hundley leads it off in the 7th, swing and a miss. Well, early in the season, just a week or two into the season, both Kevin Quackenbush and Nick Vincent sent down to El Paso, and their replacements have not fared well. And here we are back. The circle has gone completely through, and Quackenbush and Vincent now back in that bullpen. 2 strikes now on Hundley, who has walked and popped to short. Rockies box score, 4 hits, but Arenado and Stubbs with solo home runs off Kennedy. Stubbs to follow, and then the pitcher's spot. Fly ball to right. Well, he's going more and more to the opposite field. Hundley kept with the play and the first out here in the 7th. Chris Button, what do you have for us?
Well, Dick and Mark, you guys were talking about the bullpen getting on a streak, and that's what Buddy Black was mentioning before the game. He said, just like hitting, I think pitching is contagious. And you saw that last year with the incredible record, 6-1 when leading after 6. He said, right now, I think the issues with the bullpen really have to do with fundamentals. They're not doing the fundamentals of pitching. So this week, he met with them as a group, sat down and talked with them. He said, I know that these guys can get back to the numbers, maybe not the same number that they saw last year because those stats were really pretty incredible, but they just need to get back to fundamentals. Don't walk batters. Don't walk so many of them. First pitch strikes.
You know what, Chris? Thank you very much for that. And I wanted to elaborate on that because being in that position, there is nothing better than having a fraternity in the bullpen and rooting for one another. And I can only speak from experience. Calvin Schiraldi, Mark Davis, Greg Harris, Dave Leeper, I can go on and on. Those guys, it's a fraternity. They're brothers down there. They root for one another. They encourage one another. And if somebody has a good inning, hey, way to go. You pat him on the backside. Guess what? You're next. You're going in there, and you're going to throw up a 0.
Quackenbush strikes out Stubbs, looking 2 away. And Tyler Matzik, who is scheduled to pitch the Sunday game, but he is an outstanding hitter. And being used, we saw him as a pinch hitter in the 4-game series in Colorado. And Walt Weiss is giving him a bat here in the 7th inning tonight. Two outs, bases empty. Matzik has had 7 at-bats with 3 hits. Nice little .429 average. Nice compliment to his talent. He used as a pinch hitter. 0-2 the count. Scott Oberg, right-hander, throwing in the bullpen.
See, as a pitcher, pitching, right? Having to face a pinch hitter, it's a lose-lose situation. I mean, you got to have fun with the teammates, right? If he gets a hit, you lose. If you get him out, you lose because it's the pitcher. You have to get him out, right?
Watch out. Check swing foul back into the crowd.
Nice grab.
Back again with the 2-strike delivery. And another foul. Ground ball to short. Good at bat by Madsen. Amarista throws him out. A 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Quackenbush. Stretch half of the 7th at Petco. The Padres lead by 4. Recording his 321st save for San Diego. Trevor Hoffman establishes a new big league record for the most saves for one team, surpassing Dennis Eckersley's mark of 320 with Oakland. Longtime Padre closer, now 8th at this time on the all-time list. May 1st, 2002.
One of the best ever on and off the field. Number 51, Trevor Hoffman. Always a pleasure to see him. We're lucky to have him, Professor. Right?
You bet. You bet. And next year he'll be eligible for Cooperstown, and let's hope.
By the way, my friend, it's time's creeping up on us.
It is. I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Are you getting nervous?
And people are asking me about, how you doing on your speech, and I've got a lot of little, thoughts in my mind. I'm trying to think. They give you 8 minutes. Everyone goes 15, but
right.
They tell you 8. I know they mean at least 10, but I want to keep it short. I want to salute the pioneers that taught us how to do this game. You go back to Red Barber and Mel Allen.
Right.
No one really taught them. They figured out how to do this and taught all the rest of us. And I want to salute. There'd be a chance to, tip my hat to Jerry Coleman and all the announcers that have influenced me. And then
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I just I'm
nervous.
You're
going to be like a little kid.
Ground ball deep to third off Kemp's bat. The long throw by Arenado and one away.
It's going to be like back in grade school or high school when you had to get up and talk in front of your classmates, and but you got through it, right? And then your career, it's a Hall of Fame career, so you're going to be talking to all the people in the baseball world who have seen you. You were the voice of my childhood growing up, all sports, basketball, football, of course, games of the week and stuff like that. So.
No, it's
sorry about being a Hall of Famer.
I'm so humbled and honored and thrilled, and I know it's not that I won't be able to give a speech. It's just that I want it to be meaningful. I want it to be a speech that people say, "Yeah, that man loved this game, and he took me and loved the people who helped me to appreciate it."
Well, I can tell you this, people that are listening. Obviously, education's a big part of your life. You are one of the greatest writers that I've ever run across. You can write. You can write.
I love to write.
You love to write. I know, and it shows. So. Rather than going up there and just, from the heart, you're going to write from your heart on the paper, and it's going to be magnificent.
Okay, Coach.
Seriously.
Just keep patting me on the back. I'll go in there. Oh, my. Justin Upton, he's been in the thick of things tonight. Knocked in a run, stole a base, hit by a pitch, scored. Ground ball toward third. Past Arenado. How did he not get that one? Throws high. And Upton is safe at first base as Tulowitzki airmails it. It goes off the barrier, and only first base for Upton, and we'll see if they score that a hit. Once it got by Arenado, then Upton had a shot at it. Not many do.
Yeah. I think Troy Tulowitzki may have been screened a little bit. He kind of works on it. No, he had a clear view of it from that angle. And just rushed it a little bit.
Would a good throw have gotten him? We'll see how the official scorer reads it. So Upton on base for the 4th time tonight. Infield hit is the ruling. Derek Norris grounded to third, singled in the run and scored one of the 4 runs in the 4th inning, and looped the single to left his last time. Beautiful scene. The crowd tonight, Friday night turnout of 30,186. Room for you tomorrow night. Brandon Morrow goes for his 2nd win as a Padre with a nice ERA, 2.67. Jorge De La Rosa cuffed around by the Padres up in Colorado, but he's a classy little left-hander. There's Morrow. 1-1. Off speed and fooled Norris. Then Sunday, a lot of you haven't seen James Shields yet. Well, here's your chance Sunday, Military Sunday. He'll be on the hill against Tyler Matzik, the left-hander that we just saw pinch hit. Scoreboard has 9 hits for the Padres. We've been scrambling around here trying to find the 9th hit. We all have 8. There's the taken pitch and the steal by Upton. That's his 2nd stolen base tonight. Oh, quite a night for Upton.
And a nice jump and a nice slide into second base. Let's start with the jump. Leg kick, he's off and running, and then watch the slide outfield side with his right foot, right? It's the farthest point away for an infielder to go for the tag.
LeMahieu and Casey came off the bag there to slap the ball on him, but yeah, a little toe dance.
Yeah.
4 for 11 are the Padres tonight with runners in scoring position as they continue to perform well in that regard. Very, very important statistic. Smothered out in front of the plate. Tough play. But Oberg able to get him. And Upton, boy, that he took a turn at third, and Arenado was running shoulder to shoulder with him just in case the catcher Hundley was out of position.
And that would have been fun to see a runner Upton and a position player with a race to home plate. We'd have to catch it on the run and make the tag. Okay, here's the play, right? Arenado saying, hey, cover home plate. He's on the run. And then by that time, Nick Hundley retreated back.
Well, that's really an alert play.
Yep.
So 2 outs, Upton at third. Yonder Alonso has a couple of hits. A line double into the left field corner. And a bloop single to right field to knock in a run. Strike 1.
Okay, nice looking box score there, Professor. The middle of the order there.
Is indeed, with Upton a couple of hits, Norris 2, and Alonso a pair. Chance for a 3rd hit. Back to that runners in scoring position. The Padres have the 2nd best average in the majors. Runners in scoring position coming in, 322, and they've bettered that tonight with 4 for 11. Outside, 1-1.
Well, we saw Oberg in Colorado for a little bit in that series. And if you need a refresher course, he throws a fastball curveball change, 92 to 95 on the heater.
Comes right after me, Enberg and then Oberg.
Very good. I like
just
that.
Kind of, and Peeberg is right after him.
That's good.
1-2 the count. Takes high. 94 on the fastball. Nice to get that insurance run.
Yeah.
Padres with a grand slam lead. Out and swinging. So 7 complete at Petco, and the Padres have a 6-2 lead.
Top of the 8th inning. Steve Finley, Mike Pomerantz working on Padres Live, the post-game show, which will be brought to you tonight by Cox Communications. And a lot to get to, but I think foremost among them, it's got to be Ian Kennedy coming back from a tough outing his last time out.
Yeah, well, vintage Ian Kennedy tonight. He came right out, had a little extra life on his fastball, pounded the outside corner, had the little rise on it, and had an unhittable changeup today. Right there, as you can see it, the up and away fastballs, they could not touch them.
That's the Ian Kennedy everybody got used to seeing, and in the little hamstring hiccup he had a couple of games ago, and he looks ready to keep it rolling. And we'll talk more about Ian when we see you on the post-game show. Also, what we see after the final out tonight, guys, we're going to tell you about some history that was made in Fenway Park, and our Fox Sports San Diego MLB insider Scott Miller will be along, and he'll tell us about where Petco fits into this new age of home run ballparks. You're going to be surprised, so please stay tuned. We'll see you after the final out.
Yeah, that will be fascinating, won't it? There are seemingly more home runs being hit here at Petco than in past years. I was wondering about that big scoreboard, whether that's changed the wind dynamics, or is it the weather, because it isn't the usual heavy marine layer that in this drought and it's so dry.
Interesting stuff. You're absolutely right. You know, definitely the hitters have gotten better, right?
There's a shot foul down the right field side. Dale Thayer's come in to pitch here in the 8th inning. It'll be LeMahieu, Dickerson, and Tulowitzki for the Rockies. LeMahieu has walked, double to right, and grounded to second. So he's gone the opposite field in his at-bats. Almost stepped into that one. 1-2. That's where you catch that hitter looking out over the outside corner, and he walks into the pitch.
And if you miss inside, right? The count is still in your favor.
Line drive, another hit for LeMahieu. He continues to accumulate lots of hits. He now has 30 on the season, and he'll improve upon his .406 batting average.
Tomorrow, MLB on Fox Sports 1 continues with another doubleheader, starting with a West Coast Interleague showdown between the Angels and the Giants, followed by the Reds squaring off against the Atlanta Braves. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Get your baseball fix right here on Fox.
Angels and Giants playing tonight. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning up in the Bay, tied at 2. Dodgers way ahead of Arizona 8-0 in the top of the ninth. LeMahieu with a couple of hits tonight, now batting .417. Dickerson has struck out deep out to left, a hard ground ball out to first. There's that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. That's Thayer's velocity.
Derek Norris got that one off the left forearm, left elbow area. He's gotten beat up this week.
This season?
Yeah, big toe, ankle. Getting hit in the forearm will make him forget about the ankle.
And he pointed at that left forearm. Umpire Conroy giving him a chance to settle in.
Hey, the Norris jersey's already being made. You betcha. That was being made after the trade. A lot of Norris fans. One sitting right here.
Swing and a miss. 93 on the fastball, and that fooled Dickerson. Another strikeout for the Padre pitching. That's their 8th of the night.
Hey, you want to get tickets to see the Padres? These same Padres play these same Rockies at 5:40 tomorrow. Well, stay after to check out the post-game fireworks show. Set to tunes from Led Zeppelin. Get tickets today at Padres.com. Your stairway to games at Petco by listening to Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Ground ball sharply to short. Amarista flips to second. Alonso back over to first base to Alonso. And a double play. 6-4-3. Perfect double. Padres baseball, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today and see how much you could save. And by Petco, what we feed them matters. Well, welcome back to our beautiful city, San Diego. Padres with a 6-2 lead as we move to the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th. Fans out on that Western Metal Supply Company building, enjoying the night as the 30,186 attendance on this Friday. New pitcher, Jorge Rondon.
Only one game for Rondon. The right-hander has a pretty good arm. Times to be a little erratic as well. Made second career appearance Tuesday, allowed 3 runs, but struck out first career batter. Monday he was recalled from their AAA club in Albuquerque, the Isotopes.
It used to be the Dodger AAA club. Rondon, 6'1", 215. He's 27 from Venezuela. Lower third of the order, Middlebrooks and Marista in the pitcher's spot. It'll be interesting to see who Bud Black uses to pitch the 9th inning.
You know, if I was a betting guy, Mr. Enberg, I would say Nick Vincent. Oh, hey.
And you didn't peek either.
No. And if it gets to be maybe a safe situation, then, you know, Craig Kimbrell pitched Wednesday, had the off day yesterday, so I'm sure he would be good to go today.
Middlebrooks the batter to start things against Rondon. He's grounded out, safe on an error and scored, and grounded into a fielder's choice tonight. And he's 2 for the last 18. Three and 0. .94 on that last fastball by Rondon. Strike 2. Good pitch. Box Trout confirming that was a strike. Just got a piece of that one.
He's doing a good job of keeping the ball down. 5 of the 6 pitches have been down from knees or lower. Be sure to stay tuned after this one for Padres Live, the postgame show. Mike Pomerantz and Steve Finley, the Gold Glover. Steve Finley, the Gold Glover, and Mike Pomerantz, the Gold Lover.
What's that mean?
He's just a good guy. He's all about love. He's a lover, not a fighter.
Lead off walk to Middlebrooks. Yes, I'm glad you told me now. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Okay, remember early on, don't give up runs to the Rockies. Rockies solo home run by Drew Stubbs and Nolan Arenado, and my second key was score more runs than the Rockies.
Brilliant.
One run in the first, 4 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth, and when you do the math, it's a 6-2 lead for San Diego.
Wow. Not only just a prediction maven, but he can use that mathematics like no one other. Corey Spangenberg has a bat. He'll hit for the pitcher apparently. So the leadoff walk to Middlebrooks, a chance for the Padres to pick up an insurance run. And Marista 0 for 3 did get credited with an RBI. With the bases loaded, hit a ground ball to second, bobbled by LeMahieu. Run scored on the play, and that's his 3rd of the season. 2 natives of Venezuela facing each other in this exchange. Probably knew each other growing up. 2-1. Padres 6, Rockies 2. Rockies runs on 2 solo home runs, Arenado and Stubbs. Three balls and a strike.
Well, you like the blueprint of this ball game, don't you, Dick?
Yeah,
the way it worked out.
Yeah, they've been able to manufacture runs, and of course the Rockies helping them with 3 errors in that 4th inning.
Absolutely, take advantage of that, and also the bullpen, Quackenbush with a solid inning. Dale Thayer also
So tomorrow night, 5:40, and it's fireworks Saturday, baseball night in San Diego. Brandon Morrow, what is there to not like about the way he's pitched?
He's been great.
ERA of 2.67 against Jorge De La Rosa. The Padres getting to face a left-handed pitcher. They do seem to like that. And ball 4. A couple of walks from Rondon with no one out. Runners at first and second. So we'll be on the air 5 o'clock here tomorrow, Fox Sports San Diego. And the Padres game 2 of the series. Hopefully they tuck away a win tonight, get back to 500, and then move on from there. It'll be the ball in the hands of the right-hander Morrow.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, but the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Well, this game apparently will go over the 3-hour mark, but so far in the month of April, the efforts to speed up the pace of play have had some effect. The average time of game in April was 2 hours and 58 minutes. That's 9 minutes shorter than the average of the games last year. Spangenberg. Just 22 at bats with 5 hits, hitting at 227. Trying to miss the sign. Glenn Hoffman coming down to whisper something in his ear. He may have had the bunt sign on to move these runners up and swung away.
Absolutely. Try to add on, get out of slam range, make it a 5 or 6 run lead.
Squares and takes. Beautiful bunt. Beautiful bunt. It's going to be close. And he's safe. Spangenberg has the best wheels on the roster. And that was a beautifully placed bunt. And Rondon did all he could, but Spangenberg outruns the play.
Boy, he can pick him up and put him down. The crow hop is the difference. And you know what? That's a good call by Angel Hernandez at first base. It was close, but he's safe.
So the base is loaded, no one out, and the lineup turns over, and leadoff man Will Myers comes up again. Ripped to third through the legs of Arenado. Oh my. This has been a bad night defensively for the Rockies. 2 more runs score. Another error, their 4th of the night. And the Padres lead 8-2. That was a double play ball.
Hangy breaky ball, and Will Myers turns on it, and a good old-fashioned boot right through the wickets. Padres taking advantage of that, adding on.
You can credit Myers with 1 RBI, safe on the air by the reliable Gold Glover Arenado. So Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, all with errors tonight. Second and third, as it becomes a 2-base hit. Middlebrooks and Amorese to score. Spangenberg around to third. And Solarte has knocked in a couple of runs tonight, 1 for 4. He's got a chance to become the club leader in RBIs. Kemp is the current leader at 16. Solarte with 2 tonight has 14. Well, he could take the lead with a home run, tied with a base hit.
Nice layoff there.
And good block by Hendley. Well, Rondon worked himself into his own problem with a couple of leadoff walks. Then the bunt single by Spanssenberg. Myers double play ball through the legs of Arenado. He remains 2-2. Somebody down below made a good play. Ground ball, foul. Infield in, and Solarte has some big holes to shoot at.
Hey, Catalina making a nice play there and giving it to a kid. You betcha.
Fun at the old ballpark.
Yeah,
when you're winning, it's even better. But that scoreboard entertainment and all the great concessions, courtesy of the people here. Ground ball, sharply pass to Tulowitzki. Yes, sir. Infield tight, pays off. Here comes a throw to the plate, offline. 2 more runs, and Solarte, a 4 RBI night. And the Padres have built their lead to 10-2.
Well, earlier in the ballgame, Steve Finley was talking about with runners in scoring position, bases loaded, second and third, to get a pitch that's up in the zone so you can elevate, right? Well, you know what? Hitting the ball hard on the ground works just as well when the infield is in. That's exactly what Yangervis Solarte did. And the Padres are in the double digits now in the run column.
So Matt Kemp, who steps up now, move over for the time being. Jan Solarte sitting next to you with those 16 RBIs. Matt is 1 for 4 tonight and takes strike 1. Boy, this is testimony once again. You give a team an extra out. There's 4 out. And there's Kemp driving one to right field. That's a fair ball. On his way to third is Solarte. Kemp will hold with a single. His second hit tonight. Well measured, just inside the foul line. So Solarte with 2 hits, Kemp with 2, Upton with 2, Norris with 2, Alonso with 2.
And Matt Kemp will gladly sacrifice that shillelagh. As you can hear it snap all the way up here for a little first and third action late in this game.
Upton comes up once again. On base all 4 times. Fielder's choice scored a run. Hit by a pitch and scored. Singled and scored. Infield hit. And has stolen 2 bases. And a chance to add to his RBI total of 14. Now, tell me honestly, if you'd have said at the start of the year on May 1st, Jan Solarte would have as many RBIs as anyone on the team, Kemp, Upton included, you would have said, hey, Enberg, you know, where's that white straitjacket? Don't put it back on you. Still no one out. First and third. And there's a strike, 1-1.
Christian Friedrich, the left-hander, we saw him in Colorado, heats up for the Rockies.
We already used one Christian Bergman, and now Christian Friedrich.
Oh, he had a hanger there, Dick.
And innocent foul ball off to the right.
Just pulled off it a little bit too quickly. A lot of happy people here tonight.
You bet. One of them standing over at third, Jan Solarte with 4 RBIs. Kemp at first. Line drive right center field. That's going to be a base hit. Solarte scores. Kemp advances to third. It's 11-2. Upton's 15th RBI of the season. 16th. So isn't that something? Solarte, Kemp, and Upton all with 16 runs batted in.
Everybody pitching in. And back-to-back broken bats and back-to-back RBIs as Upton gets locked and loaded. And still nobody out.
Just muscles that ball into right center field. And here's Norris. He has a couple of hits. He drives that one well to right center. That's going to go all the way to the wall. That's going to score 2 more. Kemp with Upton right behind him. Here comes the throw to the plate. Could be a play. He's in there. So Derek Norris with a big night. 3 RBIs. 3 hits.
Oh, that sound, and that sound will go to the opposite field as well because Stubbs was playing him up the middle a little bit to pull. Beating it big time, and Upton slaps home plate. Everybody's getting into the act.
So a pitching change. The left-hander beckoned from the bullpen. Christian Friedrich will be right back. And our closed captioning is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. 13 for the Padres. Their high for the year was at Colorado. Remember that 14-3 win that came against Jorge De La Rosa, who will be the starting pitcher tomorrow night. Here's Friedrich and his numbers on the year.
Wow. We just witnessed something, Rondon. My goodness. 8 hitters coming to the plate and not recording an out. There was an error in the inning. Right through the legs of Nolan Arenado, but my goodness gracious. You talk about hurting the ERA.
Yeah, that's going to be astronomical with no outs and all those runs.
Friedrich, fastball, curveball, slider. Not a hard throw. He tops out about 89.
Alonso a couple of hits tonight, a double and an RBI single. 13-13. Who says that's an unlucky number?
13-13 Mockingbird Lane. Home of the Munsters. That's their address.
I guess so. Line drive, another hit. And kindly holding the runner Norris at third base is Hoffman. He could have scored easily, and there's no sense in really pouring this on. He just checked him at third base as Alonso has his third hit.
You know what that is? Respecting the game, not running up the score, not showing up the other team. That's just a big league class move by Glenn Hoffman. That was the 9th hitter coming to the plate. It's the 7th run they have scored. Glenn Hoffman holding him up.
Here's Middlebrooks, who started this inning and walked. And the Padres continue to deliver with runners in scoring position. Season 328 and 8 for 19 tonight. First and third, still no outs. Way outside. So walks to Middlebrooks, and Amarista started it. Then the bunt single by pinch hitter Corey Spangenberg loaded the bases. Then the big error by Arenado on a double play ball went through his legs. Myers safe. That ball is hit high and deep into the air, and the night air is going to bring that back. Oh my, that ball was really hit hard. Tagging and scoring is Norris. And the Padres have equaled their season high, 14 runs. Middlebrooks with his 12th RBI of the season. One out, runner at first base. Amarista bats for the second time in the inning. He walked and scored. 0 for 3, but he's walked and he's not going to run with a ground out. Or actually an error back in the 4th inning. Alonso at first, one away. I'm not surprised at this note just coming through from Mike Trussell. It's the first time ever that Tulowitzki, Arenado, and LeMahieu have made an error in the same game. Wow. These are 3 very reliable fielders just having one of those games. Line drive to Arenado. The throw back to first, not in time to double up. Alonso. 2 away. The 12th man to bat in the inning is Corey Spangenberg, who came off the bench with 2 on and no one out, a couple of walks given up by Rondon, and bunted a single.
Well, it happens to the best of them. Yeah. Remember the Bad News Bears? Walter Matthau told Ahmad, Hank Aaron made 42 errors in his first year in A-ball. Because it happens to everybody, Ahmad.
Yeah. They lived on Mockingbird Road as well.
They did not.
Oh, they didn't, though.
Different neighborhood.
Okay.
Come on, Ahmad. Everybody knows about Hank Aaron. What about him? He made 42 errors, A-ball. Come on.
Spangenberg. But I bet you don't know all the dialogue when Sherman went through Atlanta there and Gone with the Wind, do you?
I know what Clark Gable said to
even I know that.
Vivian Lee.
Yeah.
How you doing?
2-1.
Or was it Olivia de Havilland?
No, it was Vivian Lee. Olivia de Havilland was in the movie. She was the sister. Went to Margaret Mitchell's home in Atlanta.
Did you really?
When I was there for a wedding this year. And really interesting. I mean, it's there in the heart of the north part of Atlanta. Yeah. Her story. That was it. 1 and out. One of the most famous books of all time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ground ball, Arenado able to get to that one and throw out Spangenberg. With all the damage done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, and the Padres lead 14-2.
The game. You want to stay tuned here on Fox Sports San Diego. Why? You know, see a great Padres live. Mike Pomeranz and Steve Finley, they're going to talk to Scott Miller, and they're going to discuss West Coast launching pads with the way the ball's flying recently. Also, Ian Kennedy's improved fastball tonight in the game where he pitched 6 solid innings tonight, only 2 runs. He struck out 6. So Padres live after the game. You want to stay tuned right after this one on Fox Sports San Diego, brought to you by Cox. That's great TV coming your way.
Nick Vincent coming back home, back to the Major League team. And Nick, 3 outings before he was sent down to El Paso to sharpen his game, his focus, and did very well down there at El Paso. 9 in the 3rd innings, allowed only 1 run, walked 1, and struck out 16.
Talked to Nick before the game, and he said what he worked on when he was down there is staying on top of the ball. He was kind of working around the baseball here. His cutter got a little bit too sliderish, too big. And that's what you don't want to happen when you're a cutter fastball pitcher. You want it to be a short break. You don't want it to be a bigger break.
He faces Morneau, Arenado, and Gonzalez here in the top of the 9th inning. 2-0. Morneau has grounded out 3 times. Shift on. Solarte way out in right field. And 3-0. I imagine that heartbeat is pumping pretty strongly for Vincent. Now back on the big league mound. He wants to stay here. Lays in a strike at 88.
Throw it in there again.
The 8-run 8th inning, biggest inning of the season for the Padres. And he does throw it in there again at 88. 3-2
again.
High fly ball to center field. Myers. 1 away.
Can O'Corn.
Bell rings. That's 1 out in the 9th. Bill Howe, play of the game. Jan Solarte, a 2-run single that came with the bases loaded and capped a 4-run 4th inning and gave the Padres a 5-0 lead. Our Bill Howe play of the game. Isn't it interesting, the numbers in this? Padres score 4 runs in the 4th and 8 runs in the 8th.
Nice. I like that. And 1 in the 1st.
There you go. That's fairly unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rafael Inoa, switch hitting infielder. In a bat for Gonzalez. Or Arenado, rather. Arenado giving the rest of the night off. He had a home run and a single in 3 at-bats. One and one.
I'd like to see Nick Vincent have a nice clean inning here after being recalled from the Chihuahuas.
Fought that one off and off the screen in front of the dugout of the Rockies. Carlos Gonzalez next. Two-hopper to Middlebrooks. 2 away. Sound that bell, the Friar. And peel away from the end of this one. Gonzalez has struck out. Good play made by Kemp in right field, a diving catch, and struck out again. The Padres sending home 30,186. The Padre fans mighty happy tonight. They saw plenty of offense, 14 runs and 14 hits. Vincent trying to close the deal.
You know, I'm so happy about the offense tonight breaking out. I'm also happy for Ian Kennedy coming back after that last outing, 6 solid innings, punched out 6, surrendered 4 hits. A nice job tonight by the right-hander.
Didn't go. The Padres hitters 2 through 6. 13 hits. Solardi, Kemp, Upton, Norris, and Alonso. 13 hits and 10 RBIs. And the Rockies down to their final strike. That'd be a nice way to cap off his return. Yep. Punch out the final out. Arenado, one error, but again showed his hitting style. Gonzalez stays alive. It's one of those nights.
Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
And that's right. Yeah, the Padres had that taste the last game here against Houston. Yeah, it just, you can't panic. The game will find you. It's going to beat you up and it's going to lift you up.
Yep.
Just missed. That wasn't that close. 2-2. Fans were looking at that one with their heart as well. Well, the beauty of these games when you're on the 14-2 side, the 14, is that you give your bullpen some work, but you still have key players out there rested for tomorrow night if needed. So 2-2. And the full count now to Gonzalez. McCundley would be next. And ball 4 didn't go. So Hundley, a walk, a pop up, and a fly out. Nick coming into the series with a very nice batting average, 317. Dropping down to 306 with a 0 for 2 going. Ball 1.
Working underneath it a little bit.
Couple of outs. He got Morneau to fly out. Manoah to ground out, but walks Gonzalez and now falls behind Hundley 2-0. Line drive, fair ball, just on the line. Karams off that angled barrier, and running all the way on the play is Gonzalez. He'll score. Throw gets away, backed up by Vincent, and winding up at second base is Nick Hundley with an RBI double. 14-3. Well, the two-out walk to Gonzalez becomes the third run.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is, sure, it's 14-3, but free passes, and then the count goes into the hitter's favor, and you hang a pitch. Next thing you know, it's an extra base hit, and they run. Even with the big lead, you like a nice, clean inning.
Only the 6th hit of the night for the Rockies. Stubbs broke out of a 0 for 22 start, 0 for 20 in April with a long home run to left field, the first run of the night for the Rockies. That was in the 5th inning off Ian Kennedy. And he takes strike 1. Charlie Blackmon on deck. A hit for the pitcher if Stubbs keeps the inning alive. Tied him up, 0-2. There's Blackmon. He's been suffering with the flu. That's why he's not in the starting lineup. Nick Vincent wearing out these fans who keep cheering and cheering for that final strike, final out.
Come on, Vincent! Shut this guy down like a clock candy cell. Let's do it!
Another foul. To 3, the Padres trying to lock the door on a big win to open the series. Stubbs fouls another. A run in the first, 4 in the 4th, another in the 5th, 8 in the 8th for San Diego. 3 runs for the Rockies, home run Stubbs solo in the 5th, home run Arenado solo in the 6th, and the run scored here on the Hyundai double in the 9th. You'll see them all, the highlights. Stay tuned. Padres Live, the postgame show to follow immediately after the final out.
Mike Pomerantz and Steve Finley breaking it down for you. Scott Miller's going to be on talking about the West Coast launching pads. Ball's been flying.
Giants beat the Angels 3-2 tonight, and the Dodgers 8-0 over Arizona. The other NL West scores. Strike 3 called, and Vincent gets the strikeout to close it out. And the Padres have walloped the Rockies 14-3. Mike Pomerantz.
Hey, folks, stick around. We got a great show.